What's
how
going
do you
on
have
there?
your stuff on a flight? Like
between my legs.
Wait, guys,
time.
let's clear up what we're talking about.
What you putting in between your legs?
That could be interpreted in many ways.
Meat.
Salami. No.
Salami.
Meat.
Pepper jack salami.
All right, so
Okay, Arby's.
Brandon got the meats.
what is it?
Okay,
We
Brandon.
have
Brandon got the meats. I see you, my
You got
boy.
the meats.
I see you, my boy.
It's a part of my body. No,
On flight. But all right, what Brandon was trying to say was that his personal item.
Yeah.
Usually
That
a book
still
bag.
sounds bad.
And if you ain't fucking with this podcast, then you're just a bitch ass trick.
Welcome back to another episode of Save It for the Pod. Your boy's back in the building. I know y'all missed me, but we got another special guest, Alexa, in the building.
Hey.
Yes,
Special
sir.
guest.
Yay!
In honor of National Women's Month, we're trying to get more women on the pod.
I'm a woman.
3 episodes in a row.
Woman. Wait, how do you identify? Go ahead.
Cisgendered.
Her, she.
Oh, yes, thank you. That was important for us that you identify as one. We didn't want to.
Yeah, I'm a woman.
Yes.
You sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just sure.
So
I
I'm
mean-
pretty sure my fiance identifies as a woman.
As a woman?
A woman.
Pretty sure. That's good.
So that was one. Phil, does Danny identify as a woman?
Yeah, Jay.
Okay.
Wait, was Tati during March?
Nah.
Oh,
Her
shit.
first one was at the end of February.
That's
huh?
true. That's true.
But that was getting
But she
us
kicked it
prepared
off.
for March.
She
yeah,
kicked it off.
That was like the prep for March.
But that was Black History Month, so we had
Black History Month.
her at the end of the month.
We only should have had half of her though, for real. Huh?
Well, that's why we had her at the end.
True.
But Alexa, and then of course Brandon, Phil, AJ, and we in another location, the Traveling Pod, Sif Pod, aka the Traveling Pod. We're like the sister of Traveling Pants. But Alexa,
Yes.
tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Tacoma, Washington, and I'm a flight attendant.
Nice.
And I moved to Miami 3 years ago. And then, that's...
Have you
I
been
do
liking
henna
it?
tattoos. So
Oh, you do henna? That's right.
Yeah, I do henna tattoos.
Follow her. What is it?
At
Shameless
henna on
plug?
the fly.
Yes.
Because I fly, because I'm a flight attendant. So
Damn, I never did the science.
You never did it?
I
Yeah,
never
really?
And
Nah,
it's
I
funny
never- I
because
never pieced that together.
I had the name before I became a flight attendant, but I was like, I can't make that my name until I officially become a flight attendant. So on my way to my base, which was in New York, my first base, I was on the airplane and I was like making it my name. I was very proud of myself.
Damn.
You kind of spoke
Yeah,
it into
official.
existence.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
broke that down because I never would have thought that.
Henna on the fly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
My goal
hilarious.
was to like have henna appointments all around
The
world. Yeah, I mean, it's still a thing and it's still
Yeah,
happening.
because you
but
can fly free.
exactly, I got the benefits, the bennies. That's what we call them.
Nice. So Alexa's definitely a super bubbly person. I don't know everyone else's first impression of Alexa when we met her. Obviously, if you're watching the pod, make sure you watch on YouTube. Alexa's a very pretty girl. And us South Florida niggas, I feel like just anytime we meet a pretty girl, we always kind of expect. I know Phil kind of always talks about South Florida women all the time. But me, AJ Brandon, like first time I'm like, all right, she gonna be stuck up.
Well, yeah. So that's funny you said that. What was the I guess the first real question I asked you
Huh?
when I met you, when I first met you?
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
you're like you're
oh,
not.
'cause
You
you're
said
definitely
you're not
not
from
from
here. Yeah.
Like we were talking for a while. I was like, yeah, where are you from? Because it's not here.
Yeah, that was the first question you asked me. Where? Yeah.
You just know, fam. Something about these South Florida girls, they fine, but bitches ain't got no personality.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to shit
Not
on South.
always,
Yeah, I
like,
don't want to
no.
shit on South Florida girls, but I mean, Alexa doesn't fit the mold.
Overall,
yeah.
they don't.
Why?
Majority.
What was it?
Not even that all South Florida girls are bad, but you can just tell when people aren't from here.
Yeah,
Was it my accent?
no,
you
it's
don't
just
really
your
have-
You
personality.
just have a
Accent.
great personality.
Thank you.
See, but that's the you see what I'm saying? That's the thing, personality.
Yeah, usually if you have a super pretty girl, they're gonna be kind of maybe not even standoffish in like a bitchy way, but just kind of like. And I'm the same way, more like introverted, kind of nervous in a new situation, which you weren't like that at all, especially around all these niggas. All these
You
niggas.
guys are like my
That's
first.
because you're a pretty nigga,
like,
G.
Yeah,
You're
I
a South
guess.
Florida nigga, G.
I
You South
guess.
Florida niggas is different. Pretty niggas, bro.
But I'm like, yeah, she's super cool. Like I
But
almost
she had
thought-
people she was comfortable with there and stuff too.
Yeah.
So when we
yeah,
first
like,
met her,
I met you a couple times before.
yeah,
I know when I met May, it was so funny because I don't think she knows this, but when I first met her, I was like, "You're gonna be my friend," and I had that in my head. I was like, "You're cool. You're gonna be my friend." And like, it was a
That's
long
funny.
game. She started doing my eyebrows probably a year before I even met any of you guys.
Yeah.
And then it just happened so fast, and we were friends. And I was like, "This was a plan all along."
And now you're part of the crew.
Yeah.
Damn.
Alexa, kind of the woman version of AJ, just has 10,000 friends, makes friends with everybody. Like
Yeah.
every time I look at Alexa's story on Instagram, she hanging out with like a new group of
You're
people.
like, who's that? I'm like, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Alexa's
funny.
always on the go.
Yeah.
Even if it's not for her job, she just always on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Go. But y'all have any other questions for Alexa before we get into some of this flight attendant questions that
Oh,
we
that's
got?
that's where I was headed.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
what'd you think of the crew as a collective?
Oh, you guys are so cool. I think I texted my mom as soon as I got out of like May's house. I was like, Mom, I made new friends and they're black. Because like I grew up with my dad's side. My dad's side is African American, and ever since I've been in Miami, like I haven't been around like African American people, and so being back like hanging out with you guys, I was like, wow, I feel so comfortable. It feels like family. It was really cool.
Oh, so you got black friends in Tacoma?
Yeah, my family. Like that's my dad's side is who I grew up with mostly. So it was just like cool to be.
And I'll
hanging
speak
with
for
you guys.
Tatiana real quick. She off camera right here, but she's in the room. But Tatiana was super excited about the whole situation
Yeah.
because since we moved to Florida, that's all she's wanted was to make a friend. Because she also didn't want friends that are my friends, because all the friends that she have here are my friends. So she wanted someone that was unattached. Even though Alexa is kind of attached, but she was like, no, it's kind of like how you were with May. Tatiana was with you. And she's
Yeah.
like, she's going to be my friend.
And the whole time we were hanging, we're like, me too. Oh my gosh, me too.
Oh yeah, when you guys first met, it was just
Yeah.
like
You have freckles? I have freckles.
Yeah.
both half
Oh my
black,
gosh,
half
yeah,
Italian.
we're half black, half Italian. That's
Like, I thought it was too good to be true. I was like, yo, she like is a murderer.
It was like like
Yeah.
stepbrothers when they're like, did we just
infiltrating.
become best friends?
we just got yeah.
The whole lot of it was two balls of energy. I'm really excited.
But yeah, we glad to have you in our life. But now
Thank
we got to get to some of
The
this
flight attendant AMA.
Flight
Yeah.
attendant
What's
stuff.
AMA?
Ask me anything.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I was gonna say something else.
What were you gonna say?
You don't-
what
you
you-
don't
what you
wanna
was
know.
in-
Wait, I want to know. Wait, no, I want to know.
I don't even know what he's gonna say, but I also don't want to
I
know.
don't.
What's it? What is it?
I'm not gonna say. Just
You said whispering like you're not whispering into a mic.
You can tell me. Just tell me.
So do you enjoy being a flight attendant?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Do you want to know why I love it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love it because I don't like set schedules, and being a flight attendant, you can make your schedule however you want it. Even though it always doesn't work in your favor, most of the time it does. Because you can make your own schedule, and then I never have weekends, which sounds bad, but at the same time, any day could be your weekend.
Yeah.
But sometimes I forget what day of the week it is, but that's not a bad thing. Pros.
Yeah, if you don't have like a set schedule or something.
Because like whenever I would go out, it's always on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And everyone else goes out on the weekend, and I'm just like, Tuesday or Wednesday has lit days, especially in Miami. Miami every day.
Yeah,
you
they
can go
they,
out.
they find an excuse to do something down here.
Every day is like ladies' night.
Yeah.
you
That's
can
not
find
a-
some hidden spots that way though. On low key,
Where?
for real. Like I've had some great nights going out on a
During
random
the week,
weekday.
Yeah.
Like,
Every
And
day.
it won't be as crowded and
That's what I like. But also like the benefits are nice because my parents live in Texas, and then I live in Miami. My brother lives in Seattle, so I just went to Seattle and then went to Texas and then came back to Miami. So it's like nice to be able to see everyone even though we're spread apart.
And you get it flights free. You get them discounted.
Yeah, domestically it's free, and then internationally it's taxes and fees and
Yeah.
stuff. So when I went to Barcelona with my mom, it was like $40
God
Jesus
damn.
Christ.
round trip. Yeah, it was
Y'all
nice.
hiring?
No, they just hired me back, and
Yeah.
I'm an employee.
Um,
Yeah, I got furloughed.
I need to know.
Damn.
Yeah, it's okay
you
though.
didn't have to say, but like
They
It's
just dropped that
okay.
stimmy
Own
though,
it,
so
why
we
not?
straight.
So do y'all, when they have flights on the meal, do y'all get the same shitty flights that everybody else gets?
On the
or does-
meal?
Wait,
Meals on the flights.
Yeah,
What
he
it-
said
The
flights
meals on the flights?
Meals on the flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there's
you
we
just
get
pack your
whatever's
lunch?
left. I take my own lunch sometimes, but if there's meals left over, we can't eat it.
You
Yeah,
can't.
we can.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
So you guys get the scraps.
That's
That's
lit.
crazy.
Oh,
get
that's
the
trash.
lit.
That's trash, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I don't think I would ideally eat airplane food
Right.
just because it's
Was there some secrets about airplanes?
Check out like
It's-
Salisbury steak or something.
what
Salisbury steak.
was that?
Steak and gravy,
Oh.
basically.
Yeah,
like a
no,
hamburger
I just
steak.
wouldn't. It's not like healthy food. It's just airplane food,
Yeah.
It's like a lot. It's
Growing up, my-
preservatives.
yeah,
you
my
know?
sister
that
loved- they-
salad stays pristine. How?
Yeah. How? We had sandwiches on it. We had a long flight somewhere. I forgot where. But I think it might have been like at Switzerland or something. And
I haven't been there.
there was the sandwiches on there. My sister like really loved it. It was like Hawaiian rolls with like ham in between.
Yeah, I mean, I eat. The
She was like
sandwiches.
airplane sandwich. Like for the rest of her growing up, she would just love to eat airplane sandwiches.
I used to love the Sprite on airplanes,
Mm-hmm.
but it also tastes different
That
because of the
Sprite
altitude.
do be that
Oh,
Sprite
yeah,
do be
it
hitting
hits, you
different.
know?
Nah,
Just like
ginger ale
how
hits different. on
just like how
airplanes.
McDonald's Sprite hit different, that airplane Sprite, the carbonation is something different. Oh, that actually leads me to another thing. I'm someone that falls asleep super easily.
Me too.
Do they pump something into the airplanes? Because
No, it's just
before
the
we
altitude.
even take, maybe it's the buzzing of the engine.
Yeah.
Before we ever take off for a flight, I'm knocked out like that.
No,
it's
I'm
like
the
someone just
same
gave
way.
me.
Same.
And it's funny.
Wait,
'cause-
what? You're working?
I know. So, okay, when I first started the job, I flew a lot. Like, I flew probably like 3 times a year to go see my family or whatever. But when I first started the job, I'd be on the jump seat and we'd be taking off and I'd just be like, I just like slowly like drift off and I'm like, oh my God, there's people sitting right in front
Yeah.
of me. I was like, dude, but it takes a while to get used to.
Yeah.
And after a while, like you get used to it. But I was like, falling asleep.
So is it hard for you to sleep on planes now?
No.
Because you're used to being awake on them?
No, when I'm working, I'm very alert. But when I'm like not working, I knock out. I knock out anywhere in the air because we don't have a lot of time to sleep. We do, like, because we have legal time to sleep. But when I'm in an airport and I'm really tired, I'll like kick my suitcase up and I'll just like knock out. I'm leaning back and putting my head back as if I'm sleeping because people can't hear.
So when you're just taking a flight, how do you fall asleep in the rows?
I'll put one leg up and I'll kind of hug it and then I'll lean towards the window and then I'll just fall asleep. Or then that leg gets tired and then I'll take the other leg and I'll switch legs until I get...
Mid-sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's talent.
Mid-sleep. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
can sleep anywhere. And I can sleep right here.
Yeah? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right.
Do you let your seat back?
I do let my seat back sometimes, but it's an internal battle if I'm going to let my seat back. At first, I didn't think about it. I would just let my seat back until I heard the discussion of it's rude to let your seat back. Even
Is
before
it?
I was flight attendant. Yeah, there's a whole thing about,
Dang, how does
Is it
everyone feel
rude?
about that?
yeah.
Don't care.
You don't care?
No,
Don't care.
I always let my seat back. It's,
No.
it's-
What if you're the person
do you
who's
mean?
sitting there and somebody
What do
lets
you-
their seat back on
what-
you?
I'm short,
What are you gonna
so it
do
doesn't
about
matter to me. Like, I really don't care. Like,
It
I
doesn't
always
care
let
about-
my seat
yeah.
back because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's
It is
really
more
uncomfortable to sit
comfortable.
at a 90-degree angle for more than an hour.
Yeah, it is.
So when
You
we
don't?
first brought
I
this
fall
up,
asleep.
so we were just hanging out by AJ's pool outside right before the pod, so we kind of discussed this. But the seat only moves back 2 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not,
That's a lot.
You're not going from 90 degrees to luxury.
You're like 87 degrees.
Yeah.
But it
But
matters.
that little tilt matters, especially if
Yeah.
you like
But that's-
already uncomfortable. 'cause
So
it's
I'm on your side. I'm making your
Yeah.
point. So the person behind you, like, you can't get that mad. It's not like they're all the way in your lap now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel.
Unless you fly Spirit.
I've never.
I don't think spirits.
Spirits don't lean
Yeah, they
back,
don't
bro.
move.
They
They don't
don't
move.
lean back at all.
They so trash.
I'm
Chill out.
I'm glad they don't lean back because they'd be super cramped in there.
Yeah, it
Oh,
would be.
wow, they
They'd
charge
be
you for all
super
that and they
good.
don't lean back.
No, bro. I wish they
Actually,
did
they're
lean
like
back.
really cheap. Like, you know, I used to take a
No,
lot of
it's like
trips.
she's like all the extra fees.
Yeah, no.
Well,
They give you to get bags
you
and
gotta,
all
you gotta
that.
finesse
If you want to
that.
lean your chair back, you gotta
You
pay
can only
$10.
Jesus
Put
Christ.
your card right here, slide it.
You can only take like a book bag with you. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you
put
wanna pay
everything in the
more.
book bag. And
It's only a
you know,
carry-on,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I don't care if someone leans their seat back because I know if I want to lean my seat back, That's how I would want to be. But I know
Yeah.
people care, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do it aggressively. Like on my last
Oh,
flight, I did it so slowly as if they wouldn't
Exactly.
notice. And I was like, oh, I think there was a child behind me because I heard some kicking. And I was like, don't want to lean it back on this child. They don't got legs. It's fine. They do. They're not that long.
Yeah.
I didn't know people was that considerate on flights.
Yeah.
To not lean their seat back. I would never think to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Cons-
Because I
Considerate
paid for
people.
this flight.
Because
I paid for the
flight.
seat.
Yeah, I paid for this. I'm gonna use it out. Like
Yeah,
just like
I
you
mean,
pay for
I
it.
think
you have that out.
if
you
the
have that
option
time?
is there, it's
Why
your
not?
right
Yeah.
to take it.
Yeah.
If you want to be considerate, then that's like cool. But if you don't, then it like you can lean your seat back.
Yeah, but even still, like, how considerate are you not being? You're being 2 inches not considerate. Like, it's
But considerate,
much.
my
I'm
consideracy
of the
only lasts 2
mindset
inches.
if they didn't want me to lean back, they wouldn't put the chairs in there.
Yeah. If
Like
you want
that.
more
Like
leg room,
Alright.
get the extra leg room.
I'm trying to get into some of these rules though.
Ah, right.
What, what's the deal with what happened?
How do
What,
you sit?
what's
How
going
do you
on
have
there?
your stuff on a flight? Like,
Between my legs.
Wait, guys,
the
guys,
time.
let's clear up what we're talking about.
What you putting in between your legs?
That could be interpreted in many ways.
Meat, salami. No.
Salami, meat.
Pepper jack salami.
All right, so
Okay, Arby's.
Brandon
you're-
got the meats.
what is it?
Okay,
We
Brandon.
have
Brandon got the meats. I see you, my
You got the
boy.
meats
I
between your
see you,
legs.
my
Can't have
boy.
that here. It's a part of my body. No,
On flights. But all right, what Brandon was trying to say was that his
Yeah.
personal item,
Yeah.
It's
usually
That
a book
still
bag.
sounds bad. just say
Some
his
call it
carry
that.
on.
personal
know,
his
bag.
carry-on.
No, because you can have a carry-on and a personal item.
That's
Carry-on
true.
goes in the overhead.
Yes. That's
Personal
We're talking
item
about
goes.
a book bag.
goes
Wait, we're talking about luggage.
Yeah, as I said.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
book
yeah.
bag.
All right, let's be mature.
Your
Move
book
on.
bag must go under the seat in front of you.
Why though?
Okay, so if there's an emergency, right, and you have to get everyone out of their
Okay.
seats, and everyone's book bags is right there, how many
That's
people are gonna
true.
make it off the
I'ma
flight?
pick
People are
mine
gonna be
up
like
and
stumbling over.
If
That's
there's a
true.
real emergency, aren't most times we're all gonna die?
No,
Well, let's let her
there's been
finish
many emergencies
before
where
you jump.
people have like survived.
I didn't jump. She was finished.
Okay. No, I was talking about in general. I didn't. I
But
thought
that's
she was still
mostly it. It's
explaining.
like it's a barrier that you're gonna have to like. It's easier to just have everything over and have your aisle clear.
Yeah.
Like
it's obstruction.
if everyone's
But what if I don't want to leave my stuff?
it's in front of your seat. It's like under the
But
seat
then
in
just
front
think
of
about
you.
it. Okay, I gotta reach under the seat now. Now this man
Then-
gonna step on my neck trying to get out of there.
Who are you- what,
Now,
you flying
like,
Spirit?
no, you're saying like if there's an emergency, people can't clear the aisle. But if I had to
Yeah.
reach underneath my seat because it's something very valuable in
You
there,
don't
You just leave it?
you leave everything.
I'm not leaving it.
Don't they not let you put it in your lap either though?
No, we're not, you can't put it in your lap.
No.
Wait,
but
why is the no lap thing?
If you're like during takeoff and landing, everything has to be under the seat.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my flight attendants,
Ooh.
they tell me once, and
My
I
flight
don't
attendant-
listen,
Yeah.
and they're just like, all right, whatever.
I go back around and I'm like,
because they come back around and I be asleep. Like, what you gonna tell a sleep person?
I mean,
Yeah.
you only tell someone so many things that like,
Yeah.
But it's like
But-
if I'm about to get out of there and we about to book it, I'm grabbing the bag and I'm gone. Now if I gotta reach
Okay, that was
there,
quick.
what
people
if
are gonna-
everyone's
I'm-
grabbing their bag?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if everybody's trying to grab their bag from underneath the seat,
Some people
that's
are
way
slower than
worse.
you.
That's way
Yeah.
worse. It's gonna take a lot more time.
But
So I
everyone
think
has the same mindset as you.
I'm always prepared to book it. You
That's
know?
why people don't
I
survive,
got,
Phil.
I got. I'm always in preparation to book it. So I'm always
Our-
ready to grab
our-
my stuff and just go. So.
Our drills are leave everything. I don't know. I got to take my training again, but like I haven't worked since October. But
Yeah.
it's leave everything, go forward. It's you don't have time to get your bags. You got to
Yeah.
jump off the
Not
side.
even this past October, right?
No.
This past. Oh, I stopped working this past October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I go back to work in April though.
Okay.
I have a super important question that I just thought of that might be putting people at risk because of my selfishness. Does airplane mode actually do anything in 2021?
To be honest,
You don't know?
I know, but only through like hearsay. It's not like a training we've
Yeah.
had. It's like if you don't have airplane mode on, word through the grapevine, it messes with their
Communication.
communications.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is very important when you're 30,000
Yeah.
feet in the air,
Yeah.
during takeoff and landing. Like that's the most important part is takeoff and landing.
Yeah, because I think it interferes with the communication between air traffic control
Yeah.
and the pilots or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too many signals or something.
That's interesting. I usually never don't turn my phone on.
Me neither. I feel like a right wing conservative.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wear my mask. It doesn't do anything. I'm not putting it on airplane mode.
Unless I'm like my battery's dying, then I do airplane mode.
Yeah.
But if my battery's not dying, I'm like, it doesn't make a difference.
I mean, it's
Well,
not
on
the
the
end
flight
of the
you don't do
world,
that?
but at
No,
the same
I'm like,
time.
if my little device can alter this flight by not putting it
But
on
what about
airplane
everyone
mode,
You
has that
can't even
mindset,
when you're in the
you
air.
know?
You can't even use it though.
You get some service at some points.
I've got some phone calls.
Right.
Someone
well,
tried
no, I
calling
can't
me.
use it, but I just don't want to put it on airplane mode because I don't put my phone on
But like,
airplane
why?
mode.
Why though?
Because I don't
Just
never do
because
it.
You
he's
gonna get some text
disagreeable. No, it's
messages
because
while
he's
you're 30,000
disagreeable.
feet in the air?
I
No,
can
because
admit-
it's because someone asked him to do it, so he's gonna be like, no.
I can admit that's why I don't.
No, I don't
But
do
we
it
know
'cause
Phil's not gonna admit that. So.
No, I don't do it just because I generally don't put my phone on airplane mode, and I don't think it makes a
Right,
difference.
right. Because you're only supposed
I
to
think
put it
that's
on
really
airplane mode
important,
when you're on an
though.
airplane. That's why it's called airplane mode.
And I
So you
also-
generally aren't on an airplane. So that's why you're not generally putting it on.
No, I used to travel a lot, but I also think it doesn't matter, which is why I don't do it.
I think that's a big thing, like in today's world, is like people don't explain why. But if you
Yeah.
explain why you do things, people will be like, "Oh, I get it. I'll do it now."
Yeah, I might
kind of like my
consider it,
parents
that's
tell
fine.
me, like, "Hey, don't do this," and I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Cause I said so," and I'm like, "Okay, but like, why?"
But
Yeah.
all the
You
times
know?
I've had my phone not on airplane mode, not once has the captain. Psh, this is your captain speaking. We're having trouble communicating with air traffic control. Whoever doesn't have their phone on airplane mode right now.
That's happened. They didn't say that word for word,
Yeah.
but that's happened on a flight before. They're
Really?
like,
What'd they say?
they were like, it seems like people don't have their. Like, it was they not word for
Oh,
word,
word.
but they
What
kind of
airline
got
was
on.
this?
It was like, hey, can we make sure people's phones are in airplane mode? And I was like, oh dear.
You're like, "That's me."
I don't remember if it was me, but I was like, people were looking around like,
Who is?
I probably
Anthony?
was.
you just hear people ruffling around and stuff like.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, I guess it's a real thing. And
All right, good to know. I'll put my phone on airplane mode from now on.
I'll consider it.
Something that I thought was really cool is when we were in training. So you know when we were doing the safety demo.
yeah, that's
And we
what I wanted
say
to ask
like,
about.
oh, the mask is here, the life vest is here, and the safety card is right here. There was a flight where everyone on the flight was watching as the passengers, and then all of a sudden the flight attendants were like, everyone's heads just like disappeared. But then they realized all the people on the flight were firefighters. So they like literally wanted to make sure, oh, you say my life vest's under my chair. They went and checked to see if their life vest is on their chair. But on a normal flight, passengers don't
Yeah.
check to see if their life vest is under
That's
there.
funny.
Which is, I don't know. I thought always that just stayed in my mind because I'm like, dang, people really just like, it's there. I'm gonna trust you, which is cool. But at the same time, like, know for yourself.
Phil, do you
Yeah.
check?
No,
of
why would I
course
do
not.
that? They
'Cause
tell
you
me it's
can't
there.
swim.
No, because
Or you can't float. Which one is it?
I usually think this is my thing. If a plane is going down, I always intend that I'm gonna die. So if I survive, cool.
But okay, if you survive and you're in the water, you
Then
will
I'll
not.
I'll obviously use my life jacket because I'll follow.
What if the
follow
plane's
protocol.
sunk already?
Not
and
all
like,
flights.
Oh, you're gonna
have
follow
life
protocol?
checks.
Well, no, I'll put on my life jacket. I actually don't listen to any of the demo stuff. Usually, when I get on a plane, I turn on my headphones and I try to go to sleep because they say the same shit and I'm not paying attention anyways.
Do you know it?
Yeah, what did they say?
Phil's only gonna
The
listen if
mask-
it's
the mask
a.
drops down, the
She
life
just said
jacket's
that.
near,
She said
and
that.
head for the exits.
Head for the
Common sense.
Do you know, like, do you look at where your exit is before you, like, when
I
you?
always know my
Oh,
exit
that's
is
good.
any-
Like,
anywhere
how
I'm
many
at.
rows it is
Yeah.
from you? That's good.
Because I
That's good.
usually sit on the outside row. I don't like
You
sitting
like
on
the
the
aisle?
inside. Yeah.
I love the window. I
don't
love
like
the
to be
window.
trapped inside anything. So
I just like
usually
to
try
lean on it
you know.
and look through it.
If
Window seat's the
if you have
best.
really bad claustrophobia, you always find out where the exits are.
Yeah.
So
You have bad claustrophobia,
yeah, I
but
always,
you a big ass nigga.
Whenever
so
I walk
understand.
into a building, I find all the exits. So I'm like, okay, I can get out here, I can get out here, I can jump through this window, I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? Even like when I walk in this house, I'm like, okay, I can just jump out these windows.
Yeah,
I
don't
can
jump
go
through those
upstairs,
windows.
Jump
Don't
out there
jump through
into
the
the
window.
pool.
Please don't jump through those windows.
You know,
and a lot of flights that I'm on though, I generally like to try to sit in the exit row
Yeah.
because it has more space.
It does have more
You
space.
need it.
And you get sometimes you get free drinks.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that like we give unlimited basically free alcohol to exit rows?
Really?
That's a thing, yeah.
I didn't
Some
know that.
airlines,
I did not know- I
when
mean,
you
I
have
don't
exit
drink,
row, you can get one at a time. You can't just give them the whole
Yeah.
thing of minis, but
Which
you-
is wild. 'cause
Isn't
they
that
gotta
crazy?
be-
Wait,
They gotta
my
be the people to help
alcoholism-
save
it's a
muscles
thing that flight
buzzing.
attendants are very
Hey, this is
question it.
groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
SIFPod putting new. Nobody knows this. You
put
can
people
only
on
get this
game.
on SIFPod.
So how, like, so if you're sitting next door, be like, hey, I know about the thing where I get free alcohol.
No, it's the thing when you buy your
It's on the
ticket.
secret
There's
menu.
like a list of like benefits you get. You know.
Oh.
Oh, okay. If you okay, It's different because on
Southwest,
Southwest,
you don't do that,
you
yeah.
yeah.
Never flown Southwest.
What?
Ever.
That's
Ever.
my
Missing
favorite
out on
No,
the best
I'm from
airline
Seattle,
ever.
so we fly Alaska.
Right.
And
Why
then
would
when
she ever fly
started my
Southwest? She's
job,
nowhere
flew
near the
something
Southwest.
Wait.
She's in South
I
Florida.
was in the
Damn, this is
Northwest.
No,
dumb.
that's
Y'all
still not
teaching me
Southwest.
stuff. Southwest only.
Well, that's
in
where
the
it started. That's
Southwest?
where it started. And it's
Oh wait,
it
we're
more
not even
recently,
in the Southwest. We in the
right,
Southeast.
it more recently started like
Yeah.
within like the past 10 years or whatever. They
What?
expanded Southwest where
Oh,
they were
it's
flying.
where they fly.
They started in Texas. They were only doing Texas, like
Mm.
places in Texas, and then they went like Oklahoma, Kansas, stuff like that, and then just kept growing from there.
Yeah.
Damn, y'all teaching me
Didn't know
today.
that, but Southwest is the best airline out there, in my
I mean,
personal opinion.
That's good. I mean, you like it.
I love it.
Everyone has their
I
own
love it.
personal.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I love it.
Everyone has their own. I know a lot of people who love JetBlue, and I
Yeah.
think JetBlue has great service.
I'm all about bang for your buck. So if I
Yeah.
can get 3 bags on the flight for the free ski and still
And
Why
get
you need 3 bags?
Southwest,
Where are you
their
going?
their
Yeah.
motto is
Where are you
Southwest. Their motto is we don't take ourselves too seriously, and I feel like that's how I live my life. So,
I do like that because they can like be. They have their
Sing,
personality
yeah.
show, which I mean, with my airline, I think our personalities can show, but it's like you can't be too wild.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Florida, I flew all my stuff in suitcases.
Oh, that's why you had
Yeah.
3 suitcases. I was like, yo.
And I
But if
flew
you're-
Spirit, and they tried to charge me $300, and I didn't even have $300 at the time.
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Look, lady, I just need to get down to Florida to go to school. Are you really gonna charge me?"
Yeah.
And I finessed, and she only charged me 1 bag.
Can you guys fit all of your things in one carry-on in a backpack
No.
for a trip?
Well, I'm large, so
It depends on the trip and how
Yeah.
long the trip
Yo,
is.
my dad's large and he ain't gonna pay for a carry-on
Yeah.
for a check-in. He's
That's
not
true,
gonna.
your dad's pretty large.
Yeah, he checks in his bag. So growing up, it was like
Well,
if you can
yeah.
fit in a check-in bag, you can take it. Not check-in, a carry-on bag, you can take it. But if we couldn't fit it, then we weren't bringing it because he wasn't gonna
yeah.
pay for a carry.
That
for a
yeah, it depends
check-in.
on how long you're gonna be somewhere too.
Oh, it didn't matter.
I started
Really?
packing,
No.
No, like once I know Brandon's like this. Once you get
Sometimes.
more than one jacket into a bag, that's half your. Like, not
Yeah,
half
if you're
your
going
bag, but,
somewhere
like,
cold,
yeah.
that does matter.
You can find a way to fit
Usually, we went to
Yeah.
California. You didn't need
it.
much
Or
clothes.
you just wear it.
Yeah,
I
Like,
started-
so
Don't wear all your jackets
Man,
on
I
the
showed
flight.
the airport thick.
Yeah,
They're
he
like,
wore
"Damn,
it.
who's that thick ass boy?" I'm like, yeah, that's me. But yeah, I'm like wearing 2 jackets because I know it's not gonna fit.
And you get
And
cold on the flight.
And also to avoid extra fees, and like what I would do is
It's
just
just an
learn how to
extra
pack.
blanket.
Now I would pack military style.
Yeah, that's a
Just
roll it.
roll everything.
Yeah, that's how I
Was your
roll
dad
it.
in the military?
Yeah, he was in the military. He packed stuff real tight. Also, I want to say, anyone who's listening, if you're flying anywhere, always bring a blanket and socks because it's going to get cold.
Oh, sorry.
And you're going to ask us to turn the heat up. But then everyone who has a blanket,
turn the heat.
yeah, people
People do
ask
that?
us to turn the heat up. And we call the captain and be like, hey, they're cold.
Oh wait.
Yeah, we call
Oh,
them. They
shit.
control the heat. Sometimes we do on certain airplanes. We can control it only so much. Like Airbus, we can control the heat on the newer ones.
I'd rather it be
I didn't know
really
that was a
cold on a
thing.
flight.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know.
No,
Just
hot
wear
on
Be
something.
the
that
plane?
guy.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather be
sometimes when it
cold on
gets
the
too
flight.
Yeah,
hot,
I'd rather be cold.
oh my
yeah.
gosh! One time, you guys want to know a funny story? One of my first flights. I was the number 1, which is the person in the front of the plane.
She was number 1.
Huh?
No,
He
just go
was
ahead.
number 1.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was me. And I had only been working for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My first flight, not my first flight, one of my first flights. And all the other 3 girls, it was their first flight ever. And they call me, and this had been going on for a while, but I was up front chilling, like doing my thing, and they're like, 3 people have thrown up, and every time someone else throws up, someone else throws up. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
why didn't you tell me this earlier? Because I could have helped you guys. And they were just like, yeah, we got it under control now. Like maybe they didn't want to like make me nervous or something, but I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm new too. Like let me help you figure this out. But it was really funny because like someone threw up, and then someone else was like, oh my god, you're throwing up. It was if you don't like throw up, just
It was like
sorry,
that Family
trigger
Guy. It was like the
warning.
Family Guy
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, man. But it's so crazy because it happens a lot. If someone hears it, it's like a domino effect of
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Really?
Yeah, if you throw
You
up,
get grossed
I'm
out
gonna throw
easy?
up.
Oh,
No, I just
man.
throw up. Like just anything
Oh.
would do it.
I
Throw
feel
up. Like,
so
throw
bad
up
when people throw up on
immediately.
the airplane. I'm like, here are all the trash bags that you need, please.
That's happened, and it's a smell.
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
smell.
smell,
you
yeah.
can smell it. Like, it's just disgusting.
You can.
Fucking, It's just nasty. Yeah, they put like coffee.
It smells like the
beans on
inside
it
of a human.
and
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
have
that.
coffee. That's all we
Yeah.
got. Also, wear your shoes and socks on the airplane. Don't
Dirty.
walk on there barefoot,
Yeah.
please. Or the bathrooms. I see people
I would like when you said that wear socks on an airplane. I was like, who's not wearing socks on an airplane?
at least socks, you
Yeah.
know?
Bro,
Maybe
you gotta wear shoes.
I
Like,
wear
people
socks on
don't. They go
airplanes.
barefoot.
You don't wear what?
My
You
last trip, I didn't wear socks.
You were
wait, so
barefoot?
you're
No,
barefoot?
I wore like sandals.
Okay,
Oh, you're
that's better.
good.
At least
Just don't
something
touch
like a
the bottom
barrier
of the floor.
between your barefoot and the floor.
Yeah, I don't know who's walking on a plane barefoot, but
People
if you
do
are,
it.
Some hippie people.
That's-
if they're walking on a plane barefoot, then I mean,
Also,
Wait,
don't
but
let your
what's wrong with the? I don't do it, but what's wrong with the floor?
there. Okay, but like
Don't stop
everyone
playing.
walking on the floor has been all around the world, and their shoes have been everywhere. People throw up on the floor. They
Walk through the throw up.
pee on the floor.
I got strong
So many
feet.
things happen on the
You got
airplane.
people trying to join the Mile High Club.
What's the
sitting
crazy-
Or
on
that.
the floor?
what's the craziest thing you've come across while you were working as a flight attendant?
The craziest thing.
If it's a couple, then you can say a couple things.
I mean, one time, like we had to do a emergency landing because this guy was kind of crazy.
This guy was falling.
He wouldn't put his mask
this
on.
guy.
Oh, this guy.
This guy. He wouldn't put his mask on, and this was like when I was still flying, when mask mandates were like first initiated. So he wouldn't put his mask on, and we told him multiple times, and he kept looking behind him, like as if someone was gonna like attack him, and he was like, "Someone's trying to attack me," and I was like, this is not good. So I called the captain, and I was like, "Hey, we have someone that's really paranoid, but also kind of aggressive." And I noticed it when we first took off that he kept looking behind him. And it's those little things where you're like, this might be
That's gonna be an issue,
problem.
yeah.
But you know, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And
Yeah.
most of the time, a lot of times we don't give him the benefit of the doubt because usually it's might go wrong.
It's a different
But
thing when
he's-
you're up in the.
There was a moment where like he stood up and faced down like towards the aft part of the plane, which is the back of the plane.
Yeah.
And he just yelled like, ah, and we're just like,
The nigga was
oh.
going Super Saiyan.
He's probably,
Yeah,
he's
pretty
probably
much
sound
went-
like he was schizo.
Super Saiyan
he,
2, nigga.
he was either like not taking medicine that he should have been taking, or he was, you know, on something.
Right.
But it was wild. So we weren't even like 30 minutes into the flight and this happened. So we landed and we got him off the plane, which was really cool. Like the lady that came on told him, "Hey, you're safe with us because whoever's trying to get you, we can keep you safe." And he followed them off. So it was very
Anticlimactic.
yeah, anticlimactic. She very much like kind of
De-escalated.
de-escalated. That's the word. It was a lot because it's almost like what you see in the movies. Like, dang, like is he gonna go crazy? Do we have to have the cops waiting for us at the gate? It was. But
Do
then
they do that air marshal thing on every flight still or no?
I don't think it's on every flight.
Okay.
No.
Oh, really?
I-
I definitely thought it was.
As a passenger, I'd be pissed.
What if he had to do?
I'd have been hot. 30
Passengers
minutes in the
didn't
air,
even know.
and we got to go back down, bro. I'd have been so mad.
They
like,
thought
bruh.
we were at our destination after 30 minutes. It was probably from like
People
maybe
started trying to get off.
from DC to Miami.
I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, ain't nobody trying to find you, G. Chill the fuck out.
And this one guy was like, "You trying to fight?" And I was like, "Really, guy? Like, he's obviously a little crazy. You
Yeah,
trying to
just
fight
like-
him?" It was
What's-
ridiculous. That was kind of the most scary moment. One time we were boarding, and this woman
this
just
nigga want to fight. It's like, it's Dragon Ball Z up in this bit. Let's go.
this woman
That's
projectile
crazy.
vomited
Oh my
while we were boarding, and that's why I say
Oh,
leave your
before you
shoes
even
on. Before
flew?
yeah, she couldn't fly though because she was too sick,
Yeah.
and that was beginning of when quarantine
Oh,
started.
So that was a hazard for real.
yeah,
Y'all
it was
had to
a
evacuate
hazard.
Everybody, huh?
Everyone's looking at that like, I'm not flying anymore.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. What's the smoothest? Has a pickup? Has a guy ever got your number on a flight? And if so, how did he do it?
Mostly people just hand me their numbers on a napkin or something, and it's kind of funny because like I don't know where I put them, but I think it's kind of funny to like be like, oh yeah, have all these numbers. And I never really call them because it's like, eh. But I don't think I've ever given my number out. I've probably given my Instagram out, and they usually just say, "Hey, what's your number?" I'm like, "I have Instagram," and they're like, "Okay." It's like a all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah,
date a
they just
stewardess, but I didn't
ask.
pick her up on a flight.
People, huh?
I used
You
to date a
pick her up
stewardess, but
on
I
a
didn't pick her up on a flight.
Oh, you just
Pick
met her
her
in the
up.
day, like randomly.
Yeah, I met her in town.
People usually just come to the back while we're like chilling in our seats, and they kind of like lean up against the wall, and they're like, "Hey, so like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a flight attendant.
Doing it right now.
This is what I do. And then they'll leave. And then moments later, they'll come back when they have to go to the bathroom again. And then that's it. But nothing's really come of any of it. Because I'm at work, you know.
Yeah.
I just want to chill. It's kind of interesting to talk to people, though. I'm always open to talking to people and learning about their life. But, you know.
Have you ever been on a shift where you thought it was over?
What? Like
He
dying?
thought the plane was going to
Yeah,
go down.
I think that's
You
what he
thought it was over.
No.
This might be the end.
No, I have. I've been on really bad. Actually, yes and no. We were landing and it was super windy, and literally the plane was going back and forth just so hard. And then the captain just leveled it out and we landed, but it wasn't until the last minute. It was
Yeah.
really scary. But I was just like, I'm okay, just breathe. Because as a flight attendant,
And there's
if you freak out, everyone else will
Yeah.
freak out.
yeah.
And our job is to basically like have everyone be comfortable and safe and feel safe. You know, even if we're scared, our faces are the calmest.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I don't mind turbulence. I've had very, very bad turbulence, but I kind of enjoy it because it feels like a massage chair. And I told this girl that, and she was like, "Wow, I've never thought of it like that." And then she said, "Thank you for telling me it was, you know, comforting
Yeah.
for you." And she was like, it helped her a lot. But that's ever since I was young. That's how I thought of it, as like a little roller coaster. But I like adrenaline, so.
like adrenaline.
I like adrenaline. Maybe that's why I'm a flight attendant.
All right. Any more questions for flight attendant Alexa, or we ready to move on?
We can keep it going. I think we got them all out.
keep
All
it
right.
flying.
Cool.
Keep it
So,
flying.
the question that who was it, AJ, that you came across on Instagram
Oh yeah, I think
was
so. Yeah.
what could you live or
Use for the rest of your life.
use for the rest
like
of your
if you
life.
had to pick a
a spoon or a fork?
a spoon or a fork, what could you
Oh.
use for the rest of your life?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
man.
Have to
me,
pick
I-
a spoon or a fork?
You have to.
Yeah.
And I can't
Just
say
like-
sport.
No,
No.
nigga.
That's
Because
not-
everyone would say
I
sport.
just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'd say spoon.
I'd say spoon too.
I use spoon for
I'm
everything.
Spoon life. Just 'cause I eat a lot of rice.
Yeah.
And I hate people that, like you, I
Yeah.
hate people that eat
So
rice.
wait. Is it just one spoon or just spoons?
No.
Spoon
Oh, you
or
can
a
you can
fork?
you can use
Yeah.
spoons, but you can't use a fork ever again.
The same spoon.
And
for
vice
the
versa.
rest of
You
my
can use
the same
life.
spoon. That's me.
You can use a bunch of different forks,
or a
but
moldy spoon. Yeah, I think I had to go with spoons. It's just like so many things that you can do with it.
You could
Yeah.
cut
It
with
operate
it.
just like a fork. Almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharp-
What
Sharpen
can't
the
you
edge.
eat with? What can't you eat?
The only
with,
thing that I would say is hard to eat with a spoon because I always have plastic
Noodles?
silverware in my
Shrimp.
office.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no,
Pasta.
salads are really hard to eat with a spoon. Like
Right,
that
you
shit's
just you
really
use your
annoying.
hands.
But
Yeah.
no,
You eat the
only-
salad with your
hands
hand.
are
Yeah.
spoons.
Your hands are
Oh.
forks technically.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Wait, why is the chopsticks in
You
there?
can only use your
I think
hand like
chopsticks should
this
be
for
added
the
to
rest
that
of your
list.
life.
What would you use? You
it's
feel the pressure's on now that we all chose spoons?
why is everyone looking at me? No, and I would say spoon too, because like
Okay.
you can't eat soup with a fork.
Yeah,
or it'd be really.
exactly.
Actually, you could just drink
You
it.
could drink
I
it.
tried.
Yeah.
What would you use?
Whoa, that
Taki
changes
says fork.
everything.
That's what I'm saying.
That changes everything.
That's what I'm saying. I think I would go fork.
Wait, why?
what changed? I missed what
She
was
said-
said.
Fork.
I think
No, there was something that was said
he
that
said-
You could,
AJ
if it's like anything like soup and stuff, you can just drink.
You can
Yeah.
just
the
drink
soup.
it.
That's
and
true.
I don't. Yeah, you can just drink it. Like if you eat
That's
ramen, you use a
But
chopstick.
you can't. I mean,
You
ice
can't-
cream
you
with
can
a
do-
fork is
Drink it.
bad.
Ice cream is bad. If you can still kind of
You
do
could
it
eat
as long
ice
as it
cream
stays
Ice cream with a
frozen.
fork, you definitely can do that. That's easy.
Unless
Yeah,
it's
because I've had
melted.
pie and ice cream with a
If,
fork.
if it's melted, it ain't ice cream no more.
Yeah, then if it's melted, you
It's
just drink
cold
it.
soup.
I think that changes everything. So
You can't eat cereal though. You could just drink it.
You can eat cereal. You ever had to eat cereal with a fork so they say the milk?
No.
I have not had to eat cereal with a
I've
milk.
been
No.
poor and I've never done that.
If I had to,
I've
I'd
been
do
poor
it.
and I've never done that.
Yeah, like I've been really poor and I've never done
Brandon
that.
just like gives himself minuscule challenges. He's like, you know
Can
what?
I do
Today-
it? Can I do it? How can I challenge myself today with the ordinary objects?
Right. But I don't know. Yeah, I go fork.
I
Fork gang.
think in light of what this man just said, I'm gonna go fork.
Yeah, I
I
still
gotta
go.
switch back to a
I'd
fork.
still go spoon.
Dang.
Cause I like. to
I
eat-
go spoon
when
all
I
day.
eat steak and stuff like that. I like using a fork, and it just feels right.
Yeah.
It just feels right. Now I can't.
What
put a
about you
spoon.
could use your hands?
You could, but like it just. I feel like pinkies up, proper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it just.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
It feels like.
Phil don't eat steak, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know, and I
But
feel
if
like
you're eating like
steak
a portobello steak.
No, actually, you
Mushrooms
don't
are easily
need.
breakable with spoons, though.
Very.
Yeah, but still, like, I'm just saying, like, are you gonna be in a restaurant, a high-end restaurant? No, let's shake on this business deal. Like,
I mean,
Nah, I definitely think
if
it's-
we keeping it a buck, culturally,
Fork.
most
yeah, I agree with you on that.
continents of color eat with their hands.
I would do
So
this. I
that
would
even
do
in
Oh,
that.
high class
okay.
restaurant setting, so I wouldn't care about that.
Question.
But you're in this American world.
I'm eat the fuck out with my fork.
You spoon. You
My
said
spoon.
spoon.
Yeah, see?
You don't even know.
Fork.
The thing is, like, if you
My
think
spoon.
about it too, when you go to any restaurant, they give you a knife and a fork.
Yeah.
You don't really get spoons.
Yeah, and it's
Damn.
annoying.
That's
I hate
That
it.
is annoying.
I
I actually
it.
hate that too.
It's
It
it's
is
annoying, but it's
very
like
annoying.
you can use a fork. I think
Excuse
a fork
me,
is
can I
more
have a spoon?
versatile.
Like, cause I order rice bowls all the time,
You use
Yeah.
chopsticks?
and
That's
I'm
your
like,
fault.
excuse me, can you please give me a spoon? Like, I don't want a fork.
Yeah. People
Use
that
chopsticks.
eat rice with a fork get
You'd never
help.
understand.
Seek help immediately.
Bro, I do that.
You
Like,
can eat it with a
you
fork
can eat
just
it,
fine.
It's not,
But it makes way more sense with a spoon.
And
That's
usually when
easier
you
It
with
doesn't. It does.
spoons.
It's easier with a spoon when you get to the end, but it
I was just
doesn't
about to
make
say
way
that.
more
when
sense.
you get to the end, all you
Then
hear is
the-
clank, 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 because you're trying to get the
It'll
little
be
grain
the
of
same
rice.
sound with a spoon.
But you actually can scoop up the rice. Like you're literally trying 5 or 6 times
quieter.
to get this little grain of rice when all it takes is one
Like-
scoop with the
Yeah,
spoon.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you need those last 4 grains, then
It does.
But it falls off the sides and it's a skinny mountain with a
But I feel
spoon.
like you're picking the bowl and
Like-
like scoop it down. Yeah.
No, it doesn't make
Like,
sense.
people,
you
like-
don't even eat rice.
people
So-
people eat.
Oh, you saw that? I was like,
And Zyke.
she was like, I was like, whoa.
She was like,
okay.
what?
Nothing.
One more time.
Nah, she's like,
I didn't
"One
see
more
it."
time when it No, we're good. We'll play
I
it
saw
back
it
for
3
you.
times. She did it 3 times.
And I watched
She's
every
still
single
doing
time.
it.
But yeah, and then with the people eat rice with chopsticks. I said that before.
That's-
too.
And
that's
I feel
a
like
skill.
blows your
that's
mind.
still.
I wouldn't want to do that.
But usually that's Asian culture, and like a lot of the times it's sticky rice, so
Yeah, it
it's,
sticks
it
together.
makes more sense.
Do you eat sushi with a
It makes more sense.
chopsticks?
I do.
Me
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Do you?
I like using chopsticks.
Yeah, me too.
Chopsticks are fun.
They are.
Most times when I'm at an Asian restaurant, they have I use that option.
Yeah.
Even if I'm
Yeah.
like not good with it, I'll do it just to learn how to use it.
Yeah. Have you had pho?
Yeah.
Use chopsticks or a
I was
fork?
gonna say
I
pho.
appreciate you also pronouncing it correctly.
Not.
Pho.
It's because she's well
Well,
traveled.
they give you a spoon. They give you that little like thick spoon
Yeah.
thing.
It's a soup spoon. I don't know what that, but I call it
So
a
you
soup
can get
spoon.
the broth.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
so
I
good.
love pho.
Pho sucks.
Pho.
It- what?
You don't
Okay.
like pho?
He didn't have the best experience because I took him to a Miami one. But if you were to go to like somewhere else that it's better.
There's some good pho spots down here.
But, like,
I've had
where?
good
I
pho
heard
in Boca.
Davy is
I've had
good.
good pho in
Nigga, it's
Wilton
pho,
Manor.
pho.
They
Pho.
were cooking with the dishwater, bro.
Pho.
It's not the best, I must admit. Where I took him, it wasn't the best. But then when I went home to Tacoma, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I just wanted to sit there all day and just eat pho.
what
Pho.
Pho.
There's a lot of Asians in
Pho.
Washington,
My mom-
right?
huh?
Washington State. There's a lot of Asians.
Yeah, I
all
grew
over
up,
the West Coast. Yeah.
like my
had all
meal
the
growing up
internment
was
camps.
teriyaki food, and there's no teriyaki
Thought the
here, and it
internment
makes my
camps
heart
was in,
so
like-
sad.
Hold on.
she was saying.
Let him
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
They just started talking about internment camps.
'Cause that's what he mentioned. I didn't think they were in Washington. I thought they were in like closer to like Nevada, or down like.
No,
in
we
Utah.
had one very close.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we have a thing called Puyallup Fair, and it turned into the Washington State Fair. But it used to be like a camp for like Japanese.
Yeah, back when-
Asian.
And they reparated them, and
Mm-hmm.
slaves still ain't got reparated. That's crazy.
Crazy,
Crazy.
crazy.
Speaking of things overseas, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry met with the one and only Oprah Winfrey, had their interview. None of us here really watched it. You watched it.
Yeah,
We saw
I
the
did.
recap. So can you, I mean, everyone at this point knows what it is, but can you
Yeah,
give
Twitter
us
kind of
a,
informed, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Twitter has a
can
lot
you
of
give
Give
us
us your
a
first
dumbed down
recaps.
version of what happened?
your first party take.
I'm really bad at explaining things, to be honest.
You kind of just
horrible.
really
Yeah.
explained the whole flight attendant thing well.
Yeah, that was in increments. Anyway, yeah. So, just ask me the questions and I'll answer them.
What was it
what
about?
happened?
So
No, don't
basically,
answer that. Don't answer that. Do not answer that. Please, please
What
don't
was
answer
it
that.
about?
What was it
so
about?
Oprah, like at the beginning of the interview, she was like, "Nothing's off limits, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, nothing's off limits." She's pregnant, and
Well,
that was
you can see that though, right? She was like,
she was like holding it.
Yeah.
holding him or her.
Wait, so this is their first kid or their
no,
second?
second kid.
Oh, okay, because I was
So
gonna say
it-
I've definitely seen a
Then they
picture
got
of a
two
baby.
jets? That's crazy.
So they talked about racism, but they didn't really like specify that a whole lot. They did lightly. They talked about how she was treated from the beginning to the end. Also, she talked about how she felt suicidal and everything about that, and just her whole beginning to end with the royal family and how it works with the royal family, which is a whole bunch of things I didn't even know.
So
Like there's the family and then there's the firm/institution, which are two separate things, but they work together.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what you were telling me that they wouldn't let her out even though she had those suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Well, a
Let
big
her out
part
of
of
what?
it
The family?
is not the family, but she'd be like, "Hey, can I go have coffee with my friends?"
Oh yeah,
and
like
they're
she
like,
couldn't
"No."
leave or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
like let her
And she's
outside.
like, "I've been inside for 3 months. I can't leave." And they're like, "No, it's not gonna look good." Yeah. And it's like after so long of hearing like, no, they took her car keys, they took her license, she couldn't
passport,
leave.
too,
They took her
right?
passport.
Well,
she couldn't
well,
leave.
what do you expect is what I would ask, because
What?
like for me, like they're the royal family, they're one of the most powerful families in the world. At some point, if you're marrying into that family, you're gonna have to know that you're giving up a certain level of freedom and privacy.
Yeah,
Or,
but
you
you
know what I
can't
mean?
leave you
If
can't
that
leave
makes
to
sense.
go.
Privacy
I don't
part,
think
but
that's
not the
something you
freedom.
just know off rip. I mean, they should have probably
freedom
told
for
her.
sure.
She
But-
didn't know
Yeah,
anything.
didn't she say she knew nothing about the
anything,
family?
She knew
Never
nothing.
Googled
Like
them.
big thing that I was like, wow. She was like they were hanging out and he was like, oh, my grandma's coming, which is the queen. And he was like, do you know how to curtsy? And she was like, what? He was like, yeah. Do you know how to curtsy? Who knows how to curtsy? I don't know how to
I
curtsy.
do. What you mean?
I don't know how to curtsy. And
What's a curtsy?
a curtsy.
I'll do
bow.
it.
They
It's like
yeah,
a-
Oh, I ain't
bowing.
doing that.
But she didn't know that was a thing you always have to do. She thought it was only in the public you have to curtsy.
Yeah.
She didn't know it was like, oh, like we're just meeting not in the public eye. Like, why do I have to curtsy? And a whole bunch of things that she had to learn. She had to Google for herself. There wasn't a class on how to be royal.
Yeah, or how? Yeah.
Like,
I
imagine
guess
being
growing up,
Yeah,
growing
she had
up,
to learn
you
on
know
her
it.
own.
I'm like, what up, grandma?
What's up, grandma?
Curtsy
Yeah.
now, or you'll be hung. Like what?
So did you find yourself feeling bad for her?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. And like relating to her too as like a light-skinned woman, you know,
Yeah.
what she went through. Not exactly what she went through, but also, you know, I'm not
The
white
things
passing,
you
but
can relate to. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things I can relate to lightly. Not like I
Lightly.
married into a
Pun
royal
in-
family.
pun intended.
So did
But yeah,
they-
like that. Even I don't think anyone would expect that if you marry into a wealthy family or a really powerful family or whatever that your freedoms are going to be stripped. If anything, I would think like, hey, I can get away with more. I could do more. Like
Not even.
the world
no.
isn't off limits to me. You know.
I wouldn't think
would-
that if I was marrying into like a monarchy.
I feel like
Yeah, it's
you
a whole
lose.
nother
I
world.
I would know that I
you
probably
lose
have to.
freedoms in the regards of that they would try to protect you in a sense, but not
Mm-hmm.
like the freedoms like take away your license. Take
Right,
away
right,
this and
right.
that.
I would say like lose freedoms and like, all right, I can't just be
doing whatever I want.
right. I can't do whatever I want
Go
anymore.
party.
I can't just be showing my backside or whatever. Like you have to kind of have a certain level of decorum. But I don't think that means like, oh, she should have known that she was gonna be stuck inside.
Well, and they told her
For
that she
3
was going to
months.
be protected, but every
Yeah.
time there was like something coming out of something negative about her, they never protected her. But what
Right.
they were telling her was different from what her family was telling her. So they were like, "Hey, like, dude, they're saying all this stuff about you," and she was like, "Oh no, it's fine. Like they'll take care of it," but they never did.
Yeah.
And that was like months and months and months of her having to deal with that until a point where she was pregnant, she was suicidal to where she couldn't be left alone. Or if she was left alone, she would have like tried to kill herself. So she had to go to work with Harry.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, if you leave me alone, I don't know if I'm going to be here when you get back. And that's like crazy. And
Yeah.
she asked for help. She asked like, hey, can I go to a hospital? Can I seek help, therapy? And they're like, that's not going to look good on us if you go seek help.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
They're like risk her life because they don't want to look bad, which ultimately will look bad anyway.
That's
Right.
wild.
Like yeah. If she, I mean, what would have they what would they have said if like she actually killed herself? Like what kind of story would we have heard?
I mean, they probably would have.
It's like following the patterns of like Princess Diana, you know,
Yeah.
which is what
Yeah.
Harry said in the interview. He's like, I'm seeing patterns from what happened to my mom.
Yeah.
It's
But
crazy.
then also for me, right? So I didn't watch the interview. I just watched highlights, and I'm like, okay, it sucks.
Highlights.
Yeah, like on Twitter. It's like
the
highlights.
Twitter highlights.
And so I was like, well,
The memes.
you you saw a lot of that. I felt like she saw that pressure before they got married, and she still chose to marry that.
But she
'Cause,
didn't.
like,
From what I
like
saw,
they were getting bad PR before they even got married.
Yeah, that's
but it's different between what they've told her and what
Right.
they actually did.
if you get bad, like everyone gets not every, like most famous people get bad PR.
Yeah.
Cool. But if you marry into a family and saying that they're gonna protect you from that also, and like just kind of stick up for you when there's bad PR or whatever, people saying stuff, and you expect that, and that doesn't happen, that's different.
And from the interview too, she was saying she trusted them. You know, so if you're trusting people, she said she should have done her research. And she didn't.
obviously.
But like if you're like dating someone and they're someone outside of the royal family. I mean, it was Prince Harry, but you know, he's probably not who he is in the public eye. Probably very normal kind of guy, normal.
Yeah.
And then going into that whole lifestyle, even he said it's a whole, like, you're trapped. That's what he said. You're trapped in this lifestyle and it's very hard to get out. And he said like Meghan almost saved him from being stuck there. And because they moved, they live in LA now. They have their
Yeah.
own place. So I could see how, like, you know, you fall in love with someone and you say, hey, like, I'm here to be a, like, not servant, but like a,
Right. And even like you said, in the public eye one way, but behind closed doors, especially if you know, like, if you met someone, like you know Danny, right? Or your girl Danny, and they're a certain way with you, you expect that their family's going to be similar behind closed doors. You get what I'm saying? Even though you have to act a certain way because you're the royal family for the world and so on. But when it's just, hey, it's just us, no one's looking, no one's watching, can you just be a person with me? If you don't have that, that would be difficult and weird, no? And you wouldn't expect them to not behave in that manner, right?
I mean, probably. I would probably agree with you. I don't know. I just felt like I felt bad for her a little bit, and I was like, you know, it sucks that you're in that situation. But at the same time, I felt like any woman in her position would have done the same thing. Like any
What do you mean?
regular woman that gets the opportunity to marry into a royal family. So I think that's part of it. It's human
So
nature. You're an opportunist.
So you think she was opportunist and not, she didn't really like Harry?
No, I think she likes the guy, but at the same time, you know, like no one's naive. So it's like if you can get the attention of the prince, and he feel you, you like, damn, I can marry into the royal family if he fuck with me heavy, right? That's not a bad thing to say, and I also think that, and that's every little girl's dream, is to be like a princess. Well, you can really be a princess.
yeah, but it's not,
Now,
from what I know, it's nothing
What you
like
probably projected or thought it was gonna be, of course, it's completely opposite because you don't grasp that this fairy tale is probably a nightmare because this is a very powerful family, one of the most powerful families in the world, and you come from a society that doesn't operate in a monarchy. We're a very, very democratic society.
half black.
So even when you look at like the presidency, their kids and their families get a certain level of freedom that they don't adhere to in the UK. So I'm sure she went in there thinking like, oh, this is gonna be grand, and it's like, oh no, this is a shit show because of lack of research. So I'm like, I felt bad for her, but at the same time, I'm like, well, anybody else in that situation probably would have.
How much can you find out though about like what it's actually like
From the
being in the
inner
family?
They
Yeah,
keep it so like
Yeah.
secretive.
so tight, and you don't. They control what gets out.
because the tabloids, the firm, and the family all work together.
Yeah.
So like what gets put out is controlled, has the inner workings,
Yeah.
you know. So
But-
you
So-
only know what they want you
Right.
to
but
know.
And what,
but there was a
so
lot-
what kind of research could you have done?
But I'm just saying, as like,
No,
as
but like answer that. What kind of research do you think she could have actually done?
I mean, you could have just looked up like how like royal systems work. I don't know. Like I personally don't know, but I'm saying in the sense of she's also a celebrity and connected, and she
I know
had
what he's trying to
contact.
say, but it's
You know what
not
I'm saying?
coming out the right way.
I mean, I get
She
it.
had
So,
contact with
you
Piers
can-
Morgan,
you
who's from the UK.
You could get in contact with those people, but you can always look at like how things operated in the past, and they still hold the same. Those
Yeah.
truths still hold.
But even
to
if
this
she does
day.
her research,
but
that doesn't mean
nothing's
it,
going to prepare her.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying. That's the
the
point I'm trying to
research she
make.
does doesn't even that doesn't even mean it's going to be factual because
And
we
more-
could Phil can look up how veganism is the healthy option. Of course, there's going to be a flip. Like there's always two sides of the story. Like what she looks up may not have been the truth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like the information could have
Or
been
just
controlled
incorrect,
and
yeah.
altered.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying also, I would think that up until the point that they got married, you would have been able to see that.
Nah, I don't know. Not if you're an outsider and you can't really be in there like that.
Yeah, there's a
You're
lot
not
of
even from the
things
same
that they
area.
won't allow.
No, because she met the prince, the queen, and all
You
that
can
other
meet
shit.
somebody
before
and
that.
still not know who they are.
Not anyone can meet the queen, but people who aren't even royal can meet the queen.
Yeah, but up until the marriage, she was like she had moved to the UK. She was getting a glimpse of like kind of, you know what I'm saying? She was like living the royal life.
Right,
is
and
like-
all,
Like,
everything
once
in
they
Not
the,
got
what you think.
engaged,
and
yeah.
everything in the tabloids is all positive about the royal family, and like or almost all of them, I'm guessing. So she's seeing that and like, okay, like I don't think there's gonna be this bad press and so on and stuff.
No,
And
I'm not
when-
talking about the tabloids. I'm talking about like I would imagine that if you're in preparation to marry into a family like that,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna be around that family. Minus the tabloids, like I'm sure at
You're gonna
some
be-
point
okay.
she got to meet the family. She got to see how operations work. Even on
But it could
a
all
even
just
on
be
a
a facade, you know?
a small
Mm-hmm.
level, you got to see it.
That's
It can always just be
it's
Until
a
you're
sham.
actually
It's
in the
literally a sham
family.
until like you're stuck here with us. Now you're gonna see the real demons. And
Maybe.
that's just how it is, bro.
because they don't like
And they
if
lied to
you're not
her.
married in and you're not
You're not a part of the
contractually
family.
binding. If you see what really is going on, you're just gonna go right out there and spill it.
And like,
I
she's
mean,
in
even
love.
if you get married, you don't
She's-
have to stay married to him, though. So that contract can be broken. At the end of the day, she's American. She can say, "Fuck all
But-
this shit, come back to
but
America."
That's what. Yeah, but what we're saying is that like she's.
That's
staying
why
in
you
it,
wouldn't be able
you
to
know what I'm
see
saying? She
some of that
wouldn't be
stuff
able
in
to see it
advance.
until then, and then now it's too late. Now they got a kid and all this other stuff.
But you were saying like now she's contracted, like she's married to the family. Like you got to be stuck with it. Is what I'm saying. You don't have to be stuck with it.
I mean, even she.
Obviously, they don't
when
have
all
to because
that,
she just got out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like you're
you don't
you're not
know
gonna-
until you're in there.
right. You're not gonna know
Yeah.
the
Not
entire
victim
story
blaming.
until you're in there.
In a sense, yes, you are.
no, I'm not.
But once she experienced it, she was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So
Yeah.
like her and Harry, like I would say Harry is probably a great husband because
Yeah, for bouncing. Yeah.
he
the
left
royal
his
family.
money, his
Yeah.
security, he left
mean, he still got
everything
money. He still
for
got
him
money.
and his
He's
wife.
straight. Like
that's
let's keep it a buck. They gonna be
amazing.
straight. She's
Yeah, they're
still a
gonna- they're
Well,
gonna
celebrity.
be
because
fine, but
Princess
it's still
Diana
a
left
lot
him
to
money.
give
If
up.
he didn't, I mean, I'm sure she left him a lot of money,
Yeah.
but they cut him off.
Even
you
if
know?
she didn't leave him money, he's Prince Harry. He can go get a
Yeah.
bag for himself. Like his name
Yeah.
alone is gonna get him a bag. So like the money part, he's Gucci. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, they didn't leave him no money. Well, you still fucking Prince Harry.
Yeah, I mean, he's still.
You can
A
do an
prince.
interview and get $1 million every week if you want. You can do it.
A tell-all book.
Yeah, you can. You Prince Harry. You can get a bag. So that part I'm not concerned about. I think like, of course, he's a great husband. And like I said, I feel bad for her, but at the same time, I'm just like, part of me, because part of me is sinister. I'm like, at what point
Devil's
did you
advocate.
realize like this could be like a shit show before you got
Also,
married to that?
You
know
guys
what I'm
probably watch it.
But what if
I'm
they-
not gonna
they
watch
just-
it.
But if they've been in power for so long, they gotta be excellent at hiding things, Phil.
Yeah, and not
They have
really.
to be
I'm
super
not saying that.
excellent at keeping things.
I'm
under
sure they're
wraps.
evil people. Like the royal family got a lot of dirty
but listen-
history.
yeah, but
like
listen
let's
to what
not. You know
listen to
what
what you're saying though.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that at what point was she gonna realize? Dude, they've been in power for a long time, and to be in power for a long time, you have to keep a whole lot of secrets.
Yeah, but she was already
from the
getting-
media because like the people have the real power. You know what I'm saying? The people can overthrow.
Or even control. And she said they were
the
all
monarchy.
They all work in one.
But she was
Yeah.
already getting a lot of shit before they even got married. Because one, she was black, she was American. Like she was already getting a whole bunch of negative
Okay.
shit.
Right, right.
They wouldn't-
So
when
once you
she
get
was-
in,
So they were
once you think,
throwing
all right, I'm
they were
protected
throwing
now.
dodgeballs at her, but now they're throwing fucking baseballs at
Yeah.
her, bro.
They,
Like,
she
you know
she,
what I'm
did,
saying?
she didn't
That's
see any of
There's
the
a
things that they
difference.
posted about her. Like
Yeah.
she didn't look at any of it. Like her
Right.
family had to tell her, and she was like, "Don't worry about it. Like they'll take care of it."
Exactly. Yeah, and that's
and they
what they're
told her
telling.
they would take care of it, but they never did.
But you doing yourself a disservice if you're not looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Like if people throwing shit at you, I would want to. Like I'm not gonna be like, no, they gonna take care of it. Like
People are sensitive, Phil. Some people just don't want
I
to
don't know. Yeah, I just don't put that.
People don't
much
look at their
That's the
YouTube
reason why some
comments.
people don't have social medias because they're not, I can't deal with this.
Especially if
Yeah.
you're the first, maybe I don't know, first black woman to be a royal.
And she's trying to look
Yeah.
at all the positive instead of focusing on the negative.
And yeah, not only
Because
that,
negative
if the
was-
family is telling you, "Hey, we got your back," like when it gets real, like when you're married or you're part of us, we got your back, and they don't. So all the stuff you're saying, she could have looked all this stuff up and did, or not looked it up, or been like, okay, I kind of see what's going on here. But if they're telling you behind closed doors or wherever, hey, when this is a thing for real, we got your back, and then it wasn't like that.
Just think about it. It's like one of your homies saying, "I got you, I got you, I got you," but then they out in the street saying something wrong about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm like, all right, like
He's trying not to
I don't
understand.
got those type of homies.
I got your back. I'm gonna tell these people you do a great job on them. Man, she sucks, bro. She sucks. Like and
not
oh,
even,
well,
you
they
just don't
suck.
defend their
I
name.
keep
What you
telling them.
saying?
I'm keep telling them you're good. Like you know what I'm saying? She sucks, dude. She sucks.
It's
You know
more
what I'm saying?
so
You-
the outside saying you suck, and you're just like,
Yeah, but it's
you
like,
don't defend it.
It's not coming from their mouth, but they're the ones pushing the dirt. You
Y'all
know what I'm
think Prince Harry's letting Salt Bae feed meat to Meghan Markle
No.
straight from the knife to her
Straight
mouth?
from the knife.
Nah, there's a knife too close to like royal family. Don't
What
get
if,
down
what if
with
he
that.
like?
Yeah, so
The royal
on
family pays
Twitter, once again, Salt Bae got another couple in trouble because if
I saw that.
y'all remember a little while ago, there was a girl twerking in Salt Bae's restaurant, and the boyfriend came
Oh.
storming in. Apparently, that might have been a skit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But now Salt Bae did his little salt thing, sprinkled the salt on the meat, stabbed the meat, and then fed it to this girl.
The steak. It was a steak.
Yeah, it was steak. Fed it to the girl. The dude didn't look too mad in the video or anything, but of course Twitter blew up and was like, "Yo, this is mad disrespectful. I would never have Salt Bae feed my girl."
Twitter always got something.
Y'all letting Salt. I mean, I don't care. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm pretty confident, and I know Tatiana not going anywhere. So
I'm like, feed me too, bro.
He should have been like,
the nigga in the video did look a little hurt though. I can't lie, but
In the moment, I probably would just let it fly because I wouldn't
Yeah.
think too much of it. But like, it's like one of those things where if you like see it in slow motion, it
Yeah.
just looks 10 times better. She's like looking at him, and I'm just like, she has these sultry eyes on him, and I'm just like,
But she had her eyes
I
open
didn't
when
even
got
notice
the
she was
meat.
looking
bro,
at
she
him.
was looking
Yeah.
at him as he's feeding her meat, and she's like smiling and shit. Like, if you look at the video, it looks way worse than what it probably looks from his
Yeah.
view in person.
But everyone was like, yeah, the way she looking at him, but like,
Yeah.
where else is she supposed to look?
Nah, but she was like, you know how you got that look in your eye,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I want more than just
she
this
probably
steak.
just wanted the steak.
Like,
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It
was
wasn't
agreeing
enough
with
meat. It wasn't enough meat
That,
for
yeah,
her.
she was
wanted
looking for some
more
other
meat.
type of meat, but so.
But I do what you're
But
talking
yeah,
about.
in real time, I wouldn't have thought that much of it, especially if I'm like, if this is an occasion for my lady and I'm taking her here, she's enjoying herself. Cool.
Yeah.
This is what she
As long as I
wanted.
get fed too, we cool.
That's what she wanted.
I'm hungry too, bro. Like,
You
know?
think? Do you
My
think?
turn.
Do you think anything of it, Alexa, from the woman's point of view?
I mean, I watched it and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really care about the situation.
What if it was?
You know?
What if it was reversed? What if it was Salt Bae was a girl and you're a dude, and was like he was like and she was feeding him,
I'd be
Women
like,
don't fight.
and he was like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
I feel like optically it looks bad, but like it's not
in the
that big a
grand scheme
deal.
of things,
It depends
nah.
on how your relationship works too. Everyone's different. Some people are gonna be jealous. Some people aren't.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
depends. It really depends on if the guy felt that it was.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean,
if you the Ike Turner type, I get it.
huh?
No, I could turn.
If
If
you're
you the
what?
Ike Turner type, I get it. Wait, you don't know who Ike Turner is?
I mean, I don't know what that means.
You never
You know who
seen-
Tina
never
Turner
seen
is?
Tina Turner?
Ike Turner's abusive. That's what he's getting at.
Yeah,
If you're the insecure, jealous, abusive type, yeah,
he just
then I'm
I think
sure.
you can still
if
be
you're
jealous
an
without being
insecure, jealous
abusive, though.
type, that'll be an issue.
Where you going, Anime? Where you going? Need
Like
to
you
slap
can
up.
still be like jealous without being abusive. Like that could still make a guy jealous, and that doesn't
You
mean
can
he's
be
gonna hit
abusive in a lot
her.
of
But he
different
could
ways.
be verbally abusive, mentally, you know, just.
Ike was
I think
all
if you're
that.
insecure, it'd be a problem. But if you're secure in your relationship, it's like, yeah, baby, you go, girl.
Hey, well, it's been 2 incidents now. If you care about your relationship, just don't go to Salt Bae's restaurant. At least if he's there, don't go to his restaurant because Twitter is gonna make the situation worse than what it
Yeah.
actually
I
is.
wonder, like, did they break up after that? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah,
He's in Miami too, right?
yeah, he
He's
has a
down
restaurant
here.
in my. I heard the food's not even good, but I mean, I don't know
You
because
just
I
paying
don't.
for the performance.
Putting all that
Yeah.
salt on it, of course. Nigga.
Yeah.
He don't even put a lot of salt on it. It just looks like regular.
Well, it's a lot, but it ends up bouncing off the meat
Yeah.
anyway. So
Just wasting salt.
It like
bro.
bounced off his forearm, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
ooh,
He's paying
that's
for the
unsanitary.
performance.
Ugh, COVID.
do y'all know what it's called?
watched
The
that?
restaurant?
Nurs at NU
You said it's not even
RS.
good.
I've
Space
heard,
ET.
Yeah, I've heard it's not that great. So, but like y'all said, it's probably like Phil said, it's just the performance at that point. So, but anyways, switching subjects, the topic that I've been wanting to talk about since I've thought of it is what music era or decade had the best era of music. So the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s,
You killing me,
current.
Smalls.
What y'all got? I mean, I'll start and then everyone can go and then we can kind of say our whys. But for
Okay.
me, it's the 70s. What you think, Phil?
You got the 70s?
Yeah.
Um,
Just say and we'll move on. Bro, I
Yeah,
told this nigga to come prepared.
I
and
came
you still-
prepared, and I didn't know. Like I don't know.
That is unprepared.
No, because I couldn't. Like I told you, this is hard for me because my favorite artist is Bob Marley. So if
Yeah.
I went off my favorite artist, it would be the 70s. But my favorite
Nigga, you wasn't
like,
supposed to give an explanation. Just say your
I
thing.
don't know. I don't have a favorite. I didn't
Oh
pick
my
one. I
god,
don't have
bro.
one.
AJ,
Bro,
you
we
got
told you.
one?
Undecided.
I'd probably say 90s.
90s. Alexa,
I think I'd say 2000s.
2000s.
Closer to the 90s though.
Okay, and Brandon.
Oh, I thought we were doing pre.
Zach, we the Wonder Twins up in
Pre
here.
what?
It's the
I-
70s,
I-
followed closely behind by the 90s.
I thought we were doing like pre 2000s.
Oh no,
Oh.
it could be anything.
Oh.
I put etc. like because I didn't want to type in every single decade.
My first thought would have been the 90s. Like
70s.
my first initial thought was gonna say 90s, but then
Okay, so give your explanation since you don't have one, but go ahead.
Well, for me, this is hard because, like I told y'all in the group chat, whenever you picking the best genre of music, I think it's different for each genre. So I don't think you can lump
Bro, this
all
is
the
the second time you've said this, and the
I mean,
second time I haven't understood what you're saying.
whenever you picking the best eras,
Yeah.
it's hard because some of the best.
He wants to break it down by
genres-
genre.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the best
He wasn't
genres
more
come in different
specific
eras.
He's
Okay.
like, all right,
So you
hip hop.
can't lump
What is the
them
best
all.
decade for
Yeah,
hip
you
hop?
But
can't-
that's why I thought this was a more interesting topic
Right.
because
It's overall
like
music.
70s, like me and Brandon, we have 70s. I have 90s as my second. Like 70s doesn't have hip hop. So like
Exactly.
that kind of takes away from the 70s. 90s doesn't have disco. Doesn't have like that soul funk that the 70s does.
That's not true. 90s still has soulful R&B.
Yeah, R&B, but it's
Yeah,
different
so-
than like the soul funk of like kind of the like Motown and shit
It's
like that.
different.
Yeah,
It's
it's
different.
different.
If you want to break it up into genres, you're gonna have a whole nother discussion, and it's gonna take a
Alright, so-
long time to
right.
discuss all that.
So I
Because
can.
you gotta weigh in this, you gotta weigh in that, and they didn't have this. You gotta this had that,
Which
It's
is why I
just-
can't. That's
But
tough.
you can do an overall like sound and quality of music. You
Yeah.
can do that.
If I had to go quality of music, you have to go to you have to go to 70s or 80s. If
Okay.
you
So
if
70s.
you go on quality of music, just because the music wasn't synthesized,
Yeah.
so it's still live instrument. Everything was live
No,
instrumentation.
80s was a
Quality
lot
of-
of say 80s was a lot of synthesized
80s, right.
music.
So 70s and 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you still have like pure vocalists that have like actual training. So yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like
From a
synthesize
musical
of like the
standpoint,
voice
like,
synthesis,
the-
like the
Well, when I say quality, I mean
Yeah.
like rhyme schemes, like patterns, the way they make music, the way things are made,
I
and
think
all
you can
that.
get that
like,
from the 90s with hip hop. Because the rhyme patterns is very intricate, especially in the 90s you had a lot of that's the height of conscious rap. So that's when you take the message and you push it on a younger culture, and they still used a lot of soul samples. So even though the music was electronic and it wasn't as instrument heavy and it was coming through synthesizers or whatever technology, so off rip I was like, my first thought would have been 90s, just because you had R&B, so you still have soulful music, like where very really good singers that shined, like my Drew Hill, Casey and JoJo. I get Tupac still, I get Biggie. You even still get some good,
Kurt
like you get
Cobain.
Shaba and reggae, like you still get good reggae artists.
So-
You still get good 90s rock and roll, so probably 90s.
Yeah.
So I had 90s, but if I could, if you didn't go by just decade, like if I could break it up, I'd probably go like 85 to 95,
okay.
like that time period. But with the 90s, you still have Michael Jackson doing his
Yeah.
thing. You got everyone you mentioned. R&B was at its peak.
Yeah.
Still had good rock,
You still still had some good rock,
Yeah,
especially in the
that-
early
that,
90s.
grunge.
and you had more
90s.
alternative. So like No Doubt,
Yeah,
Red
and
Hot
I
Chili
was
Peppers.
actually gonna bring
Red
that
Hot
up.
Foo
Chili
Fighters.
Peppers,
Yeah.
Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Foo Fighters is David Grohl. If you guys didn't know, he was a part of Nirvana.
I think, was Prince still doing stuff in the 90s, early 90s?
a little
Little
bit, yeah.
But that's why I would move it back to 85 because he's still had a
And
couple
so-
albums come out then.
The reason well, actually, I kind of want to hear why Alexa picked the 2000s. So Alexa is the youngest out of the
When is-
entire group.
oh.
So why do you pick the 2000s?
Honestly, it's probably just more of like experience. Like that's
Yeah.
like what I grew up with.
Of course, yeah.
So that's probably why I chose it, because I think whenever I think it's just more of experience, really, because I grew up with it. Whenever I hear it, I'm just like, yeah.
So, what are some of like the? Because I mean, obviously, I've been around. I guess alive a little bit longer than
I haven't
you.
died yet.
Been around.
But what are like the artists just in the 2000s? Because when I'm thinking 2000s, I'm kind of thinking like
Usher.
Eminem, yeah,
Britney
Usher, Britney
Spears,
Spears.
NSYNC,
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys,
Yeah.
Ye, Ho. Well, see,
You got
that's a
Cudi,
cheat code
Cudi's
though.
in the
Because
2000s.
Hove is
Because
yeah.
Hove and Ye, they still make great music in the tens. So I think
I
that's a
listen
cheat
to
code.
a
Who
lot
are
of-
your 2000s artists that
Yeah,
like come to
Juvenile,
mind that make you pick the
Lil
2000s?
Wayne,
I listen to a lot of R&B and rap.
Currency.
Not so much. I mean, yeah, but not really. I think I listen to a lot of Usher.
Yeah, Usher's my
Yeah.
guy.
1708, is it
It's like
1708?
8701.
8701.
No,
I was
that's
off.
earlier than that. Like,
I was off like a
you
motherfucker.
had
Wait,
the
was Let It
numbers. It was
Burn
just in the wrong.
90s, though?
Let It Burn.
Was that
I
in the
did
90s?
have numbers. Everybody.
I think earlier than that.
It
No.
was-
Late,
90s
It
was
wasn't
nice
the
and slow,
90s.
Ursher.
nice and slow, yeah.
Ursher.
U-S-H-E-R. When he
Ursher.
pronounced it Ursher.
Ooh, shit.
8701 8701
Look
was
up Let
like
It Burn. When did it come
2002.
out?
Let It Burn, was that on 8701 or Confessions?
That was on Confessions.
Let It Burn was on Confessions.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
on Confessions.
But like I
Nice-
said, because
nice and
8701, I remember I was in summer camp at Palm Beach State, and I had a crush on this girl, and she broke my heart, and I was just playing 8701 nonstop.
Actually, you get early Usher in the 90s too.
Huh?
You get nice and burn,
Yeah.
nice and slow Usher
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
But growing up, my dad, he played a lot of Nelly, and he played a lot of
Ooh.
gangster rap. So I listened to a lot of Ice Cube, Tupac.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's 90s.
So that's like what I grew up
KRS-One.
with my dad.
Nah, I fuck
I
with
grew up
the
with my
West.
dad's music. Whatever he
Yeah.
listened to, we listened
And
to.
I think that's everyone here, and kind of why, at least me and Brandon, maybe like every day riding to school. And you've mentioned it, I think, on an earlier podcast, listening to Tom Joyner Morning Show in the morning. Down here, it was on Hot 105, which was the radio station that played it. And that's why, like, 70s for me, like 70s and 90s are the two, because as y'all mentioned, the 90s was so diverse. It wasn't just like hip hop or like
Yeah.
the rock
right.
scene, but 70s, like you had
get
Bob
Bob,
Marley.
you get Bob.
But I mean, yeah, reggae as a whole was, but it's hard to deny what Bob did.
Yeah.
And I wrote down like a bunch of artists that
get
it's like
Bob.
you can't
In the
deny.
70s?
Yeah.
So you had Queen.
Yeah.
Bootsy Collins.
You had
So-
David Bowie, the
I-
star
yeah.
man himself.
Yeah, I put that for
Led
you.
Zeppelin.
It's Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
Isley Brothers.
You had-
Pink Floyd dropped a lot in that,
Yeah.
in that span.
Yeah.
Wishing You Were Here.
And some of them I put asterisks by because they weren't blown up in that era, but they might have been at the end,
Iggy Pop.
which they're still in the 70s, or they just had started. So you have the Beatles, who just ended around the 70s.
The Cars.
Beatles, the biggest rock group of all time, whether you like them or not. Disco, I put asterisks by Michael Jackson and Prince, and you could also put that as pop. But when they
Off
came
the Wall
out,
came out in the 70s.
yeah. So I know.
I thought I was no.
Alright.
I thought I was in the early 80s. My peak, it was like 82.
I wanna rock with you. That came out in the 70s, like late 79, I think. Prince was late 70s. Michael Jackson, biggest pop artist of all time. Mentioned the
He got the
Beatles, biggest rock. Then you have soul and funk. Jackson 5. I mean, that's definitely
Oh, yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
You have Al Green. You have Marvin Gaye.
Oh,
Earth, Wind, and
wow.
Fire. You have
Dang.
James
Stevie
Brown.
Wonder.
James
Wow.
Brown. He
of
was around in the
classics.
70s. Probably one of the biggest. You shaking your head? No.
Man's world.
Diana Ross.
Yeah.
Billy Joel. I mean, I don't listen to Billy
Did I
Joel.
unlock
but-
my phone?
And that the thing is, I also asked a lot of older people because I was like, all right, maybe I'm just bugging. But I asked my dad, I asked Tatiana's mom, I asked one of my bosses. They all say the 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
70s, you get a lot of very hopeful and loving music.
Yeah.
And it's like 90s, you get a lot of that. It's like this death and destruction kind of music, especially with hip hop and all that.
Yeah.
But when you deal with like, you do it, Queen and David Bowie came out with a song when it's like one of my favorite songs, Under Pressure.
Yeah.
And it is literally like talking about like what people are going through, but like in life.
Is
and
it
then,
death and destruction though? Because I think the 70s.
I hit them up, like, you know.
Nah, the
it's like,
70s talked about pain. They just did it in a positive light.
Yeah,
I think
but
the 90s really focused on making you feel like especially
what
in
we're
hip
going
hop.
through.
Like we want you to feel it, and we want
Yeah.
to be in your face.
Tells a story about like
Whereas,
what
like,
the
Yeah,
day
what's
of
going
life.
on?
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of shit that was going on in the street was death and destruction.
It's very
people
blunt.
dying.
Very
Yeah, but
blunt.
you had the same shit in the 70s, but you
Yeah,
like,
but like they,
Cash
but
Man,
like
bro,
what I
da,
said
da,
is they
da,
talk.
da.
I don't understand what you're saying, but like what they talked about it, what they were talking about, like in a hopeful way, in a loving way. Like, can we stop this? Like you had like Clarence Clearwater revival, and they were talking about like a lot of times in the war and stuff like that. Like, you know, that's where they come the hippie era coming out of the '60s,
Yeah.
and you know they were talking about a lot of like picking it up. Let's
Yeah.
love one another and do all this. Let's not have wars. Let's break free from that. And not to quote Queen, I want to break free.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of people like coming out and stuff like that. And they were always talking about love and acceptance of one another and stuff like that. But then it just, like you said, you had like a paradigm shift. And stuff started going back to, okay, I can't feel this, all the drugs in the 80s. I don't want to feel nothing anymore. And then you come from that generation of not feeling and doing a lot of drugs to make you not feel. You come into the next generation where people don't give a shit. And there's like, boom,
Well, that's
boom, boom,
because-
this, that, you die. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
That's how
there's
you
also
live.
in the
But that's
70s
like in America, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
but in the
don't know anything
70s,
else
you also
besides
had
America.
there's still that big push from the civil rights era. So you still had a lot of people fighting for freedom, whereas once the crack era and AIDS hit, that changes the music. So culture changes.
Yeah.
So I think the 70s was a little bit still of a more positive time.
Was that
Off the
post-war
Wall was
also?
released in
79.
1979, yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
So you got
You was right. I thought about it. I was like,
What,
you
what
right.
month in 1979?
August.
I was gonna guess
Back
May.
half of the year.
yeah.
Hey, but still 70s back
Well,
Yeah,
like I
so-
said, I
Still
wouldn't.
70s.
I would agree that the 70s is high. Like I would
Yeah.
put the 70s high because they got Bob Marley, just for that reason
Yeah.
alone. Like that reason alone,
Yeah.
70s has to be top
Then you
three.
have Elton.
Elton John.
Oh,
Yeah,
Elton
I
John.
said Elton
Well,
John.
Yeah, I'm really listening.
You have so many great artists.
Yes,
like,
bro.
And the reason why I give it the edge over the 90s, which I love the 90s, I always listen to the 90s music, is because those are primetime vocalists. If you went and saw those people in shows, or you just watch a YouTube video, and they didn't have the best audio equipment, they didn't
Yeah.
have the best, but their voices still power through that shit, and you're just like, whoa, like they can sing like this for real. Like
Yeah.
sometimes like, you go to a show down here. Or not like a show down here, but like in a concert or something, and people are like, they got their music playing in the background to, fix their voice. 'Cause their voice don't sound like how they sound on
Yeah.
the record. And you know what I'm saying? Like the only person I can say who sounds like how they sound on the record is Frank Ocean. Like when I see like videos of him just like blowing, like singing it, like I'm just like, bro, like he sounds like how he sounds on the record.
Yeah, but I feel like, and you kind of talked about live instrumentation, but the 70s, I feel like that's kind of where that era ended. And then when you go into the 80s, it's more of like the electronic, the synthesized music, which I don't want to shit on the 80s because Michael Jackson's my favorite artist.
Nah, 80s had a stupid run.
Yeah, you got Michael Jackson at kind of like
His
starting
peak.
getting to his peak. You got
Yeah,
Prince
Prince
blowing
too.
up.
You got Pat Benatar, who's like she's like the pioneer for female rock stars. She was like she peaked in the
Yeah.
80s. Like that just the 80s rock in general peaked. Like I love
Yeah.
80s rock.
Yeah.
Bro, well,
Aerosmith.
artists of the 70s.
Yeah.
You have
Aerosmith, I have them on my
the Bee
list as
Gees. How we leave the Bee Gees
I
out
said
of the
the-
70s?
I said the Bee Gees with the disco.
Yeah, they're awesome.
But I feel like they peaked in the
Yeah.
80s. Like no.
Oh, Aerosmith, yeah.
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 Aerosmith, you have Bob Dylan.
So like
the
Walk This Way,
Commodores,
that started, and then you have hip hop starting in the
Skinner,
80s.
Ramones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing
Doobie
up, I
Brothers.
didn't listen to a lot of rock. It's kind of funny because I listened to what my dad listened to, and he didn't really listen to a lot of rock. But my first experience with rock was Guitar Hero. So
Oh, same.
all the songs I learned on Guitar Hero was the first time I've ever heard them.
Same.
So a lot of people who, yeah, it's crazy. I learned them on. I didn't even play the guitar. I played the controller.
Yeah.
Did you,
That's still tough. So
play any
kudos.
songs
Yeah.
by Kansas?
I didn't listen to a lot of rock
You ever
either.
play any songs by Kansas?
I don't know.
Carry On My Wayward Son?
I don't know. I remember my song I played was Hurricane.
Carry
Rockin'
on
like
my
a hurricane.
So I grew up in a very like my mom used to sing
There'll
when she
be
was
peace
younger.
when you are done.
And so when I grew up, it was all soul music. Like my mom sang, and then my family just played like a lot of soul music. So I didn't have an introduction into rock until college.
Yeah. it was-
Until like 80s rock night, and it was like I go out and I went to school in the rural area, but I'm like majority white, like PWI, and so like Wednesday night be like 80s rock night, and I'm like, bro, this shit don't really slap like that. But then after you go so
Yeah,
often,
it
and you
grows
get
on
drunk, and then
you.
everybody's in the bar having a good time to these songs, and you're like, I want in on this, and you appreciate the music.
Definitely. I think all music can be appreciated in a different way. You
Except
know?
for
and I
country.
feel like that's why.
No!
Except for
Give me a
country.
There's some
And death
country I
metal.
really like.
Country music is pretty lit.
I
I
don't
like.
country
I mean,
music.
I'm not gonna go to
And I'll
country
fight
concert.
anybody
I
who
don't
Oh,
know.
they just
No.
the Country Music Awards, I think, just got their first black host.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
First
Wow.
black female host.
Black female host. Yeah.
Black
How
female
many?
host.
Shouts out to her.
How many people do you think?
Oh,
Are gonna
bro,
be in the
they're
crowd pissed.
protesting. They are
Good, they
definitely.
could be mad.
They're gonna have the lowest ratings for sure.
They could be mad.
You think so?
Yes, well,
No, because they've had.
Country?
I think country's been progressive because like a lot of their stars are black. Like what's the boy name? It's not Jason Aldean.
You talk
Is
about
he black?
Lil Nas
the
X?
dude from
not Lil
the
Nas
dude
X.
from Hootie and the Blowfish
Hootie and the
is
Blowfish, yes.
he
What's his name? Let me look.
Okay, but you're
Yeah.
like, you're saying, oh, they're getting more progressive now, but like, that's that's still far off from where it should be, and that
That feels
is
dominated by
way
a lot of
less
whites.
than any other genre. I would presume.
Have you ever went to Chili Cook-Off, man?
I have actually.
What?
I went to Chili Cook-Off
It's
my
down here.
first.
Darius
Country
Rucker.
musical fest.
Darius Rucker. Yeah, I went to the Chili Cook-Off my first year in Florida, and
You
of course I was the token black guy. I was all my white boys, and I'm like with like lift kit pickup truck white boys, like
They have them down here too.
lift kit
Chili
pickup
Cook-Offs.
truck. So we like, yeah, they like, yo man, you trying to ride to the Chili Cook-Off? I'm like, oh, fuck that is. Like, bro, you just come with us, you have a good time. I'm like, all right, bet. Take my phone out there. Don't know where we going. Cause I'm like, where we going? It was like, oh, we going to a park. Cool. So we get to this park, you
No
lose
questions
service
asked.
like right when you get to the park. There's a line out the park, so we get in there and it's nothing but pickup trucks, lifted pickup trucks, and Confederate flags. So I'm like, and I'm with some like tough ass white boys. So I'm like, y'all sure I'm straight here? They're like, bro, we got you. You're good.
Dang.
Had one of the best times of my life.
That's cool,
Not gonna
though.
lie, had a great time, but I was nervous. Like,
Yeah.
and there's one of the few times where I was nervous and I let my guard down because of the people I was with. Because the white dudes I was with, I actually trusted, and I knew they was some bangers. So like, if shit pop, they got a pistol in the car. They got another homeboy had a shotgun in the back of his truck. So I was like, we straight. So I can actually enjoy myself. But it was interesting for sure because it's like, all
You
right,
gotta go with the right people.
yeah, it's definitely not. It's not something I'm gonna just pull up
Easily
with
get
y'all.
mixed up in
Yeah,
there.
I'm not about to just pull up with a gang of my homies and be like, all right, let's go to Chili Cook. Nah, it ain't that type of party.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of Confederate flags out there. I was like, yo, y'all finna take me to a Klan rally.
I'm sure.
And it's pitch dark. It's
Oh.
pitch black out there. So like everybody got their headlights on it. They got like the out lamps attached to their whips. And it's like if you get lost, you like, all right, where am I at?
Follow the North Star.
Like so, pretty much.
Follow the North
It's the last time I went though.
Might
too,
find
so.
your ass back in the 60s, bro.
Yeah, job
From a
probably would
tree.
not. In today's
Strange
racial
fruit.
climate, I probably wouldn't go because I'd probably have
Yeah.
to punch somebody.
for sure.
Yeah, if somebody said the wrong thing to me, I'd have to fight somebody.
Oh, yeah.
All right, back
and
to
you've been Wing Chun in it.
I'm in train, I'm ready.
So back to the music part of it, aspect. I just want to ask this last question: what song are you singing at karaoke night? I already know. I already know.
so from
Not
the
applicable.
I already know.
you're saying from the decade that we picked.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that
easy.
you picked.
I mean, for me, it'd have to be Bohemian Rhapsody if it's the 70s.
Regulators, mount up. I know
Wow.
that song word for word, both parts.
It was a clear black night, a clear white mood.
Warren G is on the street.
Trying to consume.
That's my joint.
Back up, 'cause
What are
it's
you
on.
picking, Bernie?
Wait, that's not. Oh, you picked the '90s, or would you?
Yeah, I
pick?
picked the 90s.
What song?
What song am I picking?
What artists?
Uh,
I have artists that I like.
It's either between two songs. I'm gonna pick either "Life on Mars" by David Bowie, or I'm gonna pick "Under Pressure" by Queen and David Bowie. Funny story about that song. David wanted himself to be taken off that song because
Really?
he didn't want to have nothing to deal with it after it was recorded. I don't know why.
Which one?
They were in a documentary. They were talking about that they recorded that song in like a night, and David's like, "I just want all attachment taken away from it." Like,
Interesting.
Which song?
you know,
Under Pressure?
Quick
he didn't want
side
to be a part
note.
of it. But it's like one of the biggest songs that was ever made.
Yeah.
Another reason why I picked the 90s that I didn't mention.
Ice,
One of my favorite rappers ever.
Yeah, I
Nas.
didn't know.
Okay, so
Nas.
Jay-Z Nas, which leads to our next point.
Wait. They didn't pick their
Yeah.
songs.
Pussycat
I would-
Dolls.
I would choose Pussycat Dolls. Buttons. Also,
Listen
what's
up,
the
my
other
button.
one? I've done Buttons.
You've performed
I've
Buttons live.
performed Buttons live. And also Don't Ya. Don't you
Don't
wish
you
your
wish-
girlfriend...
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them. there's
Wait, whose
they're
song is that?
Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, okay.
I've
But
also-
Fergie did one. Or who's the one who did that?
Put my humps. Yeah.
My lovely lady.
Was that Fergie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've also done. I like Bruno Mars too. He's fun.
But that's not 2000s.
That's 2010s, ain't it? Isn't it?
No, but that's just like
That's
what
2010s, isn't
It
it?
depends.
And the
Bruno Mars is
Nah, he might
definitely
be
I like.
after.
No, but Pussycat Dolls for the
He
Hell
might be.
no.
Bruno Mars might be 08.
Oh, and sorry,
Oh,
I
Oh,
didn't even.
and Usher. I've done
okay.
Usher too.
I think
But, like-
people start coloring, bro.
Yeah, he might
Bruno
be
Mars
08,
earlier than
07, 08.
I like
Nah,
duets when I
Bruno
do
Mars
karaoke.
has to- He was definitely after I graduated, bro.
Nah, bro. Bruno
Yeah.
might be 07, 08, bro. I
Hell
promise you.
no.
Nah, I
He's
don't think
after
07, 08.
2010. He's after
He
2010
was
for
when
sure.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
so
like
maybe I did.
2010.
No, Bruno Mars is when I was in high school. That was, I feel like it was 9.
Oh, 9?
Yeah, I think it was 9.
Yeah.
Hell no, bro.
Yeah,
Just like,
there was
when
a
did
time
he-
in my
when did
life
he
where I
chart?
sang that song.
It's
going
definitely
through
the
a
2000s
lot.
because I remember 2010, I think. Tyler the Creator came out with a song, "I'll stab Bruno Mars and his goddamn esophagus.
yeah.
It won't stop until the cops come in.
Oh my god,
So his-
yeah.
I'm an
he-
It
overachiever."
says
say
he was
that.
active
Yeah, he
since
said
2004, but
Yeah.
his first hit single was 2010.
I didn't
Okay,
know that he said
so
that
I was
about
right.
him. I remember that part, but I didn't hear the
So I was
who it was
right.
about.
So can we talk about Nas versus Jay-Z now and how it's not even a battle, but Phil's trying to make it a battle?
Yeah, he wants us to put up a
Jay-Z-
poll.
I don't
Bro,
know.
Jay-
Another poll,
Jay-Z-
he'll lose.
You are a fool, bro. But go ahead.
So okay, explain like in what way is Nas like lyrically is he better than Jay-Z? Does he make better albums? Does he make better songs than Jay? Like what?
What do you mean? You
no,
can-
just
Yeah,
explain.
no, that he said exactly what he was asking. He said, "What do you mean?"
I'm about to tell you.
You said, "What do you mean?"
Like
to say
I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trying
No,
to make leading
if you-
questions.
If you take out,
Music.
no, you can't take out music because Nas has one of the most influential albums of all time in
okay,
hip hop.
okay,
Like,
get to your point.
His best album is almost better than any of Jay-Z's albums, like in terms of classics.
Wait,
His-
time
his-
out.
his classic
first
album is better than-
It's almost.
Okay,
It's
and then-
almost better than any.
No,
of
but not
Jay-Z's.
but even
okay, and
like
then after that,
I think he tells stories better than Jay-Z. Lyrically, I think he's better. I think they're like 1A, 1B. Like they both lyrically great. The thing that Nas does well for me, or why I think Nas is a little bit better than Jay-Z, or I like him better, is because his approach to the music and he's so creative. Like Jay-Z doesn't have a song in his catalog where he's rapping from a different like perspective. Like when like Nas made a song from the perspective of a gun, and this is in the early 90s. That transcends hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like Illmatic was wrote when he was 17, and that's considered one of the best hip hop albums of all time.
Okay,
Like,
and we're not
granted,
disagreeing
And
that.
I'm saying Jay-Z's a great artist, and I'm not gonna knock Jay-Z because I love Jay-Z. He's in my top 5, and he's one of the best ever as well. But me personally, I'm more Nas, and I think how Nas approaches his raps. And
but the
messages
way
he
the
put-
way you've gone into every argument, it hasn't been. This is my opinion. You've been saying like this is factual, and everyone
Yeah.
should be thinking
Yeah.
that Nas is
Yeah.
a better rapper than Jay-Z.
Oh, I think it is factual. I think by you saying it's not even a, what do you say? It's not even a conversation.
Yes,
I was like, bro, you're wild.
because there's
You are out of your mind.
I
There's
think you
a-
can have the conversation, but I
You are
think
out of
it's
your
clear
mind.
that Hov is.
okay,
don't
but
think
the
so.
top three.
I think Hove has to beat Nas, and I'm just that's it's an opinion, but Hove just had a longer career, and
He hasn't.
The Nas?
No, Nas is nominated for a Grammy this year. He hasn't had a long career to Nas.
Grammy doing what?
Okay, they
His
both.
album is
listen,
Grammy nominated.
Okay.
No,
He has an
not- yeah,
album?
but he
yeah,
dropped a
he
lot more
has.
projects.
Not Jay-Z has
Projects, right?
He hasn't dropped more projects.
every project that
asking.
Jay-Z has put out is how do I say this? Like
Grammy nominated?
I don't know if they're all Grammy
But, like,
nominated,
that level.
but like the average hip hop fan can name like majority of Jay-Z's albums. And this goes back to our original argument. Like I feel like I'm a little bit more than average, and yes, my Nas knowledge is not that great. I can name one Nas album, and I can name damn near like all of
You
Jay-Z.
can't be a. The thing is, you can't say you're a hip hop fan and only name like real hip hop fan and only name one Nas album. How, bro? What you have to know more than one Nas. What album do you know?
Illmatic.
And that's it.
Yes.
Still matter, right?
Illmatic, Stillmatic. It was
Trillmatic?
written Nostradamus. Life is good.
Okay, I know Nostradamus.
The,
The one with Damien
the
Jr.
N
Young
word,
Marley.
Distant relatives.
Okay, I know that one
Nasir,
too.
Like
And I know Nasir.
But okay.
King,
You talk
this is
about a
King's-
longer
so-
career,
so
King's
let
a
me-
longer
disease.
successful
Let me-
career.
Yes, yes.
God's
longer
son.
successful.
But it's
So-
the fact that you
so-
had to list those off, and I'm like, okay, I know that one.
I know, like,
Whereas
so
Jay-Z, I can
Jay-Z's
name.
albums have a certain level. Like Nas will jump. He has albums up here as well.
Yeah.
But it goes down and it goes back up. It's like a very big jump. Like it's like a stock. It's going up and down. Like Jay-Z's has been consistent at this level, and then it jumps up. Then it goes back to that consistent level, jumps up. Is that at a higher level?
I think
It is
no.
at
I
a
think
higher
I
level.
think Nas. I think Nas
I mean,
and
it's
Jay-Z.
opinion based, but like this is just
I think-
everybody knows Jay-Z. Everybody's like always,
Yeah.
like there's always videos, there's always cuts of Jay-Z. You don't see that with Nas.
Well, because Nas chooses to be a lot more low key. Like he's not.
That's true.
He's
Yeah.
still very entrepreneurial. He's still into tech. He's still
yeah, but we're
invests
not
like
talking
Jay-Z.
about that. We're
But I'm
talking
saying- but-
about
But he
like,
chooses to be more low key. So like he doesn't get the. He's not as mainstream accepted because he also doesn't.
but
make
he's not
mainstream-
dating Beyonce either.
True. But,
So,
of course,
so
but it's-
Jay has no choice but to be in the light
Nah, but
because
it's
of Beyonce
it's the
as
same-
well.
it's almost
he
the
can't
same-
hide like Nas.
It's almost the same argument of Drake and Kendrick to me. I feel like a lot of people might not know all of Kendrick's albums, but a lot more people gonna know Drake albums. But at the same time, you'd be like, "Whoa, I think Kendrick is better lyrically than Drake." That's how I feel about Nas and Jay. Jay is obviously the bigger artist, has the bigger impact in terms of like just making hip hop more global.
Yeah.
But when you talk to rappers, I think Nas when it comes to that pen, I think Nas has a bigger impact.
But people that I know that are
I
super
disagree.
into hip hop, like
Say-
actual like radio DJs, all this and that, and like much older than me, have Jay-Z as their number one rapper. If you ask like an average person or someone that's super into hip hop who are the top 3 rappers, they're gonna say Big, Pac, Jay-Z in whatever order, but it's always gonna be those 3. Nas is never in that top 3 for anybody
Maybe
outside
top,
of you.
maybe
I
top
Outside
four.
of you.
Maybe
I
top 4.
No, I disagree.
But I think,
He'll be top 5.
I feel like
yeah.
the way Jay-Z's albums are always put together, I feel like they're with the times. Nas doesn't compromise too much of his sound.
And a lot of people
that's
are
what
unattracted to
causes-
his beats.
That's
Yeah,
that's what
'cause
I'm
he doesn't-
saying.
yeah.
He doesn't compromise.
And
the
so
way
Nas
Jay-Z
has
does.
knocks against him. Jay-Z, I don't hear anyone ever knock Jay-Z about anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but as I'm getting back to saying this, I do like Nas's lyrics. I love Nas's lyrics, but I'm saying the overall sound of it, Jay-Z's beating him because Jay-Z's staying more relevant with the beats and the collaborations with different artists
And what he's talking
stuff.
about
Yeah.
also.
I don't think.
And
Okay.
Nas has been saying some stuff like that, like what Jay-Z has been saying now. You know what I'm saying? He's
Nas
he's
been saying that his whole career.
He's always been saying it, but a lot of people haven't been listening to truly understand that. I know what you're saying. I've listened to the album.
That's not his fault.
But it's just his beat.
If he was a better rapper,
It's
he'd
his-
deliver it in a better way.
No, it's,
You can't be considered one of the best rappers of all
It's the
time.
sound. It's the sound. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Nas sticks with that sound, and that's what's hurting him from being like Jay-Z, because Jay-Z's
I don't-
always incorporating different things. That's how I feel.
I don't think it's hurting him because you can't say
Yeah.
it's hurting him and he's Grammy nominated this year.
I understand
And his
that, but-
album and his albums is good.
And this argument, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this argument
Yeah.
is hurting him. That's what I'm
And-
saying. I'm
but-
not talking about that part.
And to
the
support my
Grammy
case, I
nominated.
would say when you look at their albums and like some of their best bodies of work, you can put Nas' album right next to Jay-Z's. Like you can put Nasir right next to 444 in terms of messaging, in terms of like what the information that they putting out, right neck and neck. If you talking about collaborative albums, you can put
Junior Gong.
Distant Relatives right next to
But
Watch the Throne.
I think-
right next to it.
I think if I
I mean, they're
You can
two,
put it right
they're
next
two
to it.
different
I
types
think-
of
But the
music, so-
messaging that they both
feel
have
like-
is very similar. You can put Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt right next to each other. You can put It Was Written in the
But
Blueprint
who's-
right next to each other.
But Jay-Z stuff is more mainstream, so it gets more
That don't mean it's better.
notoriety than
That's
that.
like saying Kendrick.
But what
Kendrick
I'm saying,
is
like,
Drake is
so,
better than
so
Kendrick.
you may have your opinion, but a lot of people are going to side with everybody else
Yeah.
that Hove is better because he's more out there for them. He's more available for them. Just like Drake is more available than Kendrick to some people.
Yeah, for
Drake
sure.
but so people are going to say, "Oh, Drake is better than Kendrick" because of that. It's all based on opinion. That's what we're arguing right now. It's just an opinion, but I'm saying from just looking at it from that, like this is facts. Jay-Z's more out there. He's more mainstream. He's going to get more people to like him than Nas will. Even though Nas may still have, like, they may be on the same level, but in the eyes of the people, his stuff jumps like this, where Jay-Z stays consistent.
Exactly, and I got to
I-
give it
I
to somebody.
100% agree with you.
I also got to give it to somebody that can be diverse. Like Jay-Z
Yeah.
can make a song like "Song Cry" and a song like "Big Pimpin'," which are both fire, both two completely different records. And then Nas what's equivalent to Big Pimp in that song Nas has put out?
What Nas also don't have a. I know I can't do what I want, be what I want to be either. Jay don't got that. Nas do, and he got If I Ruled the World.
Bro,
Uchi
that
Wally
song is
like,
also so fun.
bro,
Like
Uchi Wally,
bro.
like that's a big pimping song, pretty much. It's talking about.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give
Come
you that.
on, bro. He's
But
right neck and neck.
don't ever put out "I Know I Can" as
Don't
an
sleep on
argument.
"I Know I Can," bro.
As a kid, I like that song, but if you listen to it now, it's like, yo, this shit's actually mad corny.
No, when that's a song promoted to little black kids,
Yeah.
that song is very impactful because it makes you go research.
I mean, it's
It
still,
made me when I was
it's
a
still
kid.
a
I went
corny
and go
song,
looked it up.
bro.
I was like, I never knew they cut off the Sphinx nose, so let me go look this up.
Uh-huh.
I only know the chorus.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I only know the chorus of the song.
But
I think
what,
I was
what
really
I'm
young.
saying, Phil, is I'm not arguing against you at any point in this thing. I understand. Like I'm saying, like the level of Nas to me is up there because I listen to his songs. But what I'm saying is, in these niggas' eyes and in a lot of people's eyes, because Hove is more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if you get your song in Project X, was one of the biggest movies that everybody's seen. They had Ham in that song, like Ham in that movie. When they were partying and stuff.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm playing that song every day because I'm want to go hard as a motherfucker. Let these niggas know who I am, right? Whatever. Like that's how I was. Like, but I wasn't like not. It's not. The song was all right, but it was just like how it's put and how it's used. Everybody makes it more accessible to everybody. Everybody knows Project X, and everybody knows that song is in there. So everybody's gonna play that song, and that's why that song like blew up like that. And so I'm saying that he's more mainstream. It's more brought to everybody else. So everybody's gonna say Jay-Z is better.
Everybody
Because
knows.
his songs are out there like that. Like Empire State of Mind.
Everybody knows Ether,
Yeah.
which is
What?
one of the greatest diss tracks of all time.
But if you ask the younger generation,
And that's
I
the
don't know
only
either.
argument you can have was who won that battle. Like
No,
you can
but
make the argument that Nas had the better
Hold on,
diss
hold on.
record.
Let me let it say it.
I don't know that
Oh,
either.
so
no,
now
it's
everyone doesn't
either.
know.
She's in the younger, so the younger people are not gonna know that as you older.
But like
ones.
what?
Or
It's-
so-
Maybe I know it if I hear it, but I don't know.
You know, FJZ, you been on my nigga, you love my style. Quit your soul to Ether. Like it's
She doesn't.
just a
Yeah, I
great
don't
diss
know
track. But to say that he's not in the conversation, Zach, is what I'm like, you wild.
Okay, yes, I was
You are
I was a
wild.
little over the top on that, but you were also over the top by saying Nas is a better artist than Jay-Z.
say he's a
I
better
know more
rapper.
Jay Z songs than I do
I
Nas.
say he's a better rapper.
in his opinion, he has to state that
Well,
it's
yeah,
in his
because-
opinion.
Well, their
Jay-Z's more
art is
mainstream.
rapping.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
still saying that he's a better rapper and better
But I
artist.
think like
He's a
more
better rapper.
mainstream.
No, you just say he's a better lyricist.
Lyricist, he's a better lyricist. I don't think he's a.
better lyricist.
When you talk about artists as a whole, it's not just lyricism.
Stringing shit together and telling a story.
Yeah,
I kind of
Nas is a better lyricist, and that was my point.
Oh,
Nas
so you're
is a
saying-
better lyricist than
Lyricist.
Jay
And
Z.
that's it. That's the only part.
But
that he's better at.
That only part is a big part of hip hop.
Okay. And he's not. You're not
But
saying
you
he's
be
blowing
spitting
him out
all
the water.
lyrics.
What do you? No,
Why can't
I
they
didn't
both?
say-
all the
right,
lyrics
Why
you
can't they
want.
Okay,
both
so
I said
win?
he's one. I
So
said
if you have
Why
five
can't- why do you
categories,
put
right?
two queens against each other?
Two queens.
Kings.
but that was my initial argument.
Right, you're-
Why do we have to pit two
Okay.
kings against each
So
other?
No
my initial
participation medals out here.
My
Shorty.
initial argument was never that Nas is a bigger artist or
You
like,
said he was better.
he's better at rapping. I say he's
We
better
said
lyricist.
if we're gonna put up a poll,
Yeah.
Hove versus Nas. That's all we said we're gonna do.
And-
And you were like, I'm taking Nas.
Did you
And I
guys put
said
a
in the
poll?
beginning, if we not counting like the entrepreneurial, like even entrepreneurial stuff, Nas is still on that. I'm just saying if we talking about sticking to the pen, lyricism, and I'm not talking about popularity, and I'm not talking. I said this in the beginning, taking away like global impact. We just talking about lyricism. Nas is better than Jay-Z.
Nah, this argument is a sound argument from you, Phil.
That's all I was arguing. So for him to say it's not a conversation, that's a slap
But
to
that's not
Nas.
what you
He
but
said-
it's not
that's
what
not
you
what you
said.
said, though.
It's not what you
Yeah,
said.
What you're
Okay.
saying now is
What
not
you
what
say
you said
now is a
before.
sound
You said
argument.
before
What you were saying
that
before is
Nas was better than
very
Hove.
Because
vague.
notice
That's
how
it.
we're all like, okay, that makes sense.
Okay,
If you break it down, to like in that one category, yes, he's better. But if you take in,
I mean, I still don't think he's
complete
better, but it's
as a lyricist, you don't think?
yeah, but
But I think you have to
but
go back.
You
I think
have
they're tied
you have
for the
way
lyrics.
more of an argument, and that is kind of a coin toss. But okay, we can
But
move on now.
even if you talk
Oh,
about
God.
even in the
It's like
artistry.
when Phil texts, you gotta
Phil's like, hold
break
on,
it
wait,
down
we're
and figure
gonna-
out
No, but I'm
what
like
he's saying.
even in the artistry, like a part of me, because Jay-Z is so popular, I can't put him in terms of like reach bigger than Hov.
Yeah,
But part of me still thinks that there's an argument there. because of the bodies of work that they have. Is what I'm saying. So like you
Bro,
can
you cannot compare their bodies of work.
can,
No,
bro.
you cannot.
You can.
Hove has a better body of work. Yes or no?
Bro, don't even make that face.
I listen to Nas more, so no.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's-
what?
that
It
doesn't
doesn't
mean
matter
anything.
what you listen to more. Who has the better body of work?
Nas.
All right.
He doesn't even
Because
believe it.
I
All right,
just
we can move on.
No,
We
I
can-
just told you this because every all of my favorite J projects, I have a Nas project that just that's equally better. That's the equivalent or better. So
But
when you talking about bodies of work, it's like that's a personal favorite
Yeah.
because I like both of their bodies
Okay.
of work.
I'm also not a numbers guy, but if we pull up the numbers right now, I'm sure Jay-Z outsells Nas.
He's gonna blow him out the water for sure.
So then, I mean, you were talking about Grammys earlier. So if we want to talk about numbers,
Right.
and you want to talk about bodies of work, then Jay-Z is the better artist
I'm
and
sure
has the better body
right,
of
you
work.
you just said Nas was Grammy nominated for an album this year. I'm sure
Yeah.
Jay-Z has more Grammy nominations than Nas.
Probably. Let me see how many Grammys.
So yes, his body of work is better.
That's your opinion.
No, if we're gonna measure it by anything,
I think it's all opinion.
by Grammys,
It is.
If that's
but
what you
Phil
use.
was the one that brought up Grammys in the first place.
right? That's why I'm using that.
I was listening to a podcast about that. I don't know if you're allowed to bring up other podcasts on a podcast.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Dude.
But it's about art and like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but at the same time, if there was like a beginning artist making art, that could be beautiful to someone, but someone with like more skill and training also could be beautiful. But like, which one's better?
Yeah.
Like one could be worth $1,000 and one could be worth like $1 to someone.
Yeah.
So, not knocking any of your arguments, but just kidding.
It's all perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all.
But consensus would say that
Right.
Jay-Z is the more
Because he
impactful,
aligns
has the
with
better
more
body of
people.
work. Yeah.
And I don't want to, because I feel like I'm gonna take away from Jay-Z right now. What I'm about to say is that Beyonce factor holds a lot of
It does.
goddamn
I mean, it does.
weight.
Yeah.
But
Beyonce has a
even-
whole nother
But I
demographic.
will
that he
say-
doesn't
But
have.
and it brings him into that demographic, and that's why he's available because
Yeah.
he's making music with her.
But
And-
Jay-Z was also the bigger artist before him and Beyonce got together.
Yeah, she
And
But then
how,
she blew up, and then she took. I think.
but how many projects? I don't even know how many projects Jay.
It's
I don't
like
think
a-
he's put.
It's
I
like a
don't.
slingshot.
I don't think he's put out that many projects since him and Beyonce have been
Yeah,
together.
not really.
She
He has like after or before.
But he's been on songs and stuff
Yeah,
like that. with
that's
her.
true.
They've
'Cause
been
you
married.
got Kingdom Come.
How y'all know these
Blueprint
albums
3,
names?
444.
Yeah, that's recent.
There was
And these are all these albums outside of 444 are albums that people don't consider like Jay-Z, like American Gangster, like
American
Blueprint,
Gangster, yeah.
like maybe the Black Album.
Black Album's definitely one of his best bodies
Yeah.
of work.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so I
American-
mean,
American Gangster, the Blueprint 3, and Watch the Throne came out.
Oh, yeah,
Magna
Watch the
Carta,
Throne.
Holy Grail was Kingdom Come.
which I like that album, but no one talks about that album.
Magna Carta.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
Is
like
that-
it.
That's the one that had Frank on there.
Magna Carta was good.
yeah.
I think it was
that
super lit.
song "No Church in a While"?
No, that's on Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
Watch the Throne.
Yeah, like almost the Magna Carta came out. You could play that song, the whole album, all the way through, and every song was a banger.
Yeah. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about Big and Pac today because I might get a hernia or what's the thing you get in your head?
Aneurysm?
Yeah, an
A
aneurysm.
migraine?
An
An
aneurysm.
aneurysm.
and you might get hurt.
So you do retract your statement that it's not even a conversation, which is my point from the start.
I mean, I was
No, no,
being
no, 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 no.
because you disrespect.
Dramatic.
No, I
Wait,
said
wait,
that-
wait. What he
Oh my
said was,
God,
if
dude,
you're
we're
talking
trying
about
to make
artist
that
versus
point.
artist, who is better or who has like the better body of work, it's not a
It's
conversation.
a conversation, bro.
It's like okay, it's a conversation, but the conversation is always going to be Hove is better, except for if you talk about lyrics.
Depends on who you ask. If you grew up
If
in
you-
hip hop and
If you talk about this sliver of the pie, yes.
Yes,
if you
there-
grew up
there's
in
a-
hip hop, then it's a real
But he wins
conversation.
all the
But if you talk about the
majority
mainstream, it's not a
categories.
conversation. Yeah,
Here
Right.
he wins all the other categories.
Of course, 'cause he's bigger.
but Nas wins that slice of pie.
but if you grew up in
Nas
hip hop,
has the opportunity to win that slice of pie.
Right, the opportunity to win that slice of pie, yes.
Yeah. But I think the other
He's
one is-
inspired
is-
some of the
so,
greatest
Are we going to
artists.
talk about Big and
So is
Pac? I
Hov.
mean, I
no,
can do it.
we're not talking about Big and Pac today.
Why not? Why not?
Because I can't handle
He's
it
scared.
right
He
now.
might get killed
she's
over
from the
here.
West, so I might have help here.
West Side.
Tupac?
Damn,
Yeah.
Phil, you act like I ain't here over here, bro.
right.
About, yeah.
All right,
You're from
you
the-
all
you're
on the
from
West
West
side.
Side.
Y'all on the West side.
You're not from the West Side.
Exactly the energy I don't want to get into.
We
this, 'cause
don't-
I just last
I'm
episode had to
Tupac,
do the
though.
same thing.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have any sports that we were going to talk about, right?
No.
Nah, nothing
All
really.
right, so we could end it. Alexa, we definitely appreciated you.
Oh,
being...
check out the movie I Care a
Oh
Lot.
shit, yeah.
We didn't
Stream
talk
it,
about
stream it. Sorry. So go ahead. I care a lot.
We're not done yet, guys. Because you had
I
Last
said
Chance
we
You on
not
there.
done
also.
yet.
I forgot about
But
that.
I Care a Lot, super dope movie. Check it out. I don't want to give any inkling as to what it's about
Nah,
because it's a
ruin it.
It's on
super.
Netflix.
Are there any major
Not-
actors or actresses that are?
I think it's the lady who played
Oh
in
yeah,
Doom.
but I don't want to say who it is because, I don't want to say who it is. But there's a couple major people in it.
Okay.
Major, but like you wouldn't think of them as major.
Yeah.
But then I just thought about it again. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's lit or he's in a bunch of stuff. But it's an original story, one that's never really been told. The way it ends, completely like, not completely new, or I guess would be kind of new. It's just, I don't know. It's just good
Thank
and
you.
not what you expect.
That's all the information I need to know to watch a movie. I don't like
That's
to
it.
know
There
more
you
than
go.
that.
Also, since it's not a conversation about best artists, I need a poll for better lyricists. Since it's not a conversation,
All right.
can
All
I
right.
at least get that?
All right, we got you.
Hey, tell them to them.
So Last Chance You, it's probably on its 5th season now. This is a docu-series kind of thing that's been on Netflix. The first, if it is the 5th season, the first 4 seasons were about football, and it's just shot so well. Like, again, it's kind of a documentary style thing, not scripted at all, but the way that it's shot, like you feel like you're watching scripted TV. I know Tatiana got super into it because you said it was like a Friday Night Lights. That's what it felt like you were watching. But it's amazing. What? Yeah, I was gonna get to that. So this season they are doing a basketball season. So the whole premise of Last Chance You, the first couple of seasons, it was about the first season was a school in Mississippi, a bunch of students who D1 athletes, they get in trouble at their school, get kicked out, they go to this school and get a second chance at another university. A lot of them actually ended up going to FAU, which where we all went to undergrad. Well, me, Brandon, Phil, and AJ. Well, Phil went there for grad school, and Luke as well.
And Loki.
So this another school in California. There's one kid or a couple of kids. One kid, he was actually and I'm not spoiling anything, but he was like a 4-star recruit. Played against Ben Simmons. He went to Oak Hill, but tore both his ACL. So now he's at this school. But super good story. These people, they've also put a documentary about cheerleading, which I don't give a shit about cheerleading. Tatiana forced me to watch it, but they kill it. They do such a good job. So definitely recommend watching Last Chance You.
You already finished the basketball one?
No, I'm still on the first episode.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah.
Okay, So who tore their ACL?
This dude, I forget his name. I don't.
Oh, because Oak Hill, you were talking about basketball.
Yeah.
You finished? So you didn't finish the first episode?
No, I did finish the
Oh, you
first
did
episode. I
finish,
didn't finish
okay.
the season.
I was like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I just started watching it after you told me, and I
Yeah.
went halfway through the first episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to that part.
And I got one recommendation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was lit, and I started watching Abstract, which you recommended a few
Yeah, I'm sorry watching that too.
episodes ago, and there was something else, but no, Abstract's pretty dope too. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I watched Murder Among Mormons. Murder Amongst Mormons.
I
on
feel like you
Netflix.
love all learning about Mormons, bro.
I just
You
like
love to
that.
be a
I
Mormon?
I like documentaries about different cultures that I don't know anything about.
You've
Cultures
been
or
watching a bunch
religions.
of Mormons ones.
So if it's cult-like, I'll watch it. If it has murder,
Correct
serial
me if
killers,
I'm
I'll
wrong.
watch it.
Tati's raising her hand.
Can Mormons have multiple wives?
Oh, she's coming. Here, she's coming.
Yes, that's the one.
That's more.
There's this documentary, Phil, that you might like.
Let's go on the other side.
I like this side. It's called The Vow. It's on HBO Max. It's about a sex cult. And this
Right up my alley.
right? And I only watched half of the first episode because the gummy I took, I was not focusing, so I wanted to focus. But there's this actress, I can't remember her name, but she was in Smallville. This actress was in it, and she's no. It's not a spoiler alert, but I think she's in jail now because of it, because she was in with the top guy. It's called The Vow on HBO Max, and it's about a sex cult.
Adding it to my watch list. They have another good one on HBO Max. I think it's called like it's a political death of a political murder or some shit like that, which is really good. But Murder Amongst Mormons is on Netflix. It's 3 parts. Really good story about the Mormon Church and like Mormon artifacts. Like a guy that was doing Mormon artifacts is actually kind of fire, and I was like, damn, that's wild. So just stuff like that you know I wouldn't have known if I hadn't watched it because it was news in like the 70s and 80s.
It's called what? Mormon what?
Murder Amongst the Mormons.
Okay.
If you go to like documentaries, it's only like their first page. It's good. I fuck with the Mormons.
You do?
I don't know. I'm just saying that.
The Mormons is kind of like
polygamy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in Utah this year
their
for a wedding.
history is yeah.
I'll be in Utah this year for a wedding. So
Is
I
it a
might
Mormon
go,
wedding?
It's not, but I might go fuck with him just to fuck with him.
I'm sure like not everyone obviously is bad. Like there's bad people in all their religions, but I feel like Mormons just have like a crazy history. Like they used to dress up as Native Americans and kill people and rob and blame it on them.
Which is interesting because
I don't know if that's 100% factual, but there's been like a ton of references
Allegedly.
to it and like
You can be factual if you're on a podcast.
well, the documentary is pretty much a
paint them as
Mormon
the villain,
artifacts.
then take
Has to
their
do with
land.
a Mormon artifacts dealer,
Okay.
which and
Perfect
like
way
the
to do
Mormon
it.
Church. So I'll put that out there, which is why it was interesting. So
Dope.
check it out.
Dope. All right, but Alexa, for real this time, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Yay.
Definitely informative. I'm sure a lot of people will be trying to get
so.
some free booze
Oh,
at the exit
that.
aisle.
I thought you were going for something else.
And any
I
other
thought you meant
any other
informed.
airline tips you could like how to get discounted tickets, how to complain to hit a lick, any advice
Yeah.
for relief?
See how it works out when you book a one-way and a one-way instead of round trip.
Bars.
Do it.
Mic drop.
Mic
Dope.
drop.
All right, but it's been another episode of Save It for the Pod, episode number 19. Phil, hit the drop. Peace.